AlberonRPG and to our special one-shot, Greater Than Greed. My name is Joe Treff. I am your DM this evening and joining me are my friends, Matt, Vincent, Tina, Hannah, and Alana. Thank you for joining us for this special one-shot. It is an epilogue one-shot to our first D&D campaign that took place between 2019 and 2022, I believe. Maybe 2021. I can't remember. 22. But 22. But this is taking place exactly 4 hours after the end of our campaign, and we are going to find out some resolution for the uncle of Shae, our monk. But before we do that, a couple of quick announcements. First of all, we have social media, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Patreon, at AlberonRPG. You can see all different kinds of things up there. We have some original campaigns you can only see on Patreon now, like Deadly Sins, which is a drinking game one-shot that was a blast to play. Cara made us 7 different cocktails, so you can see that over on Patreon at AlberonRPG. I got to have 2. Yeah, we have Starfinder and I think I had almost all of them. I think there was one that I didn't have. Yeah, it was really good. They were like, each one was also really good. I was expecting to go in and like maybe 1 or 2 of them, but they were all good. Yeah.
We were sloppy, so join Patreon if you want to see us be sloppy.
Yeah. We play Starfinder and D&D, and don't get as sloppy on Thursdays and Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m.
Varies.
It does vary. It really kind of depends on the day. But that is all the announcements that I have for this week. And so it is time to just jump right back into our recap. Fatechangers. Last we played, you had gathered together from extraordinarily different backgrounds. The incredibly fleet Shae, master of the Zinyi, a human who began her journey as a scout, but stands responsible for restoring the Staff of Twisted Fates, mending parts of schisms of this order, and bringing justice to great evils across Dominion. Captain Eleanor Windwright, a swashbuckler with a keen knowledge of the merchant world and footwork born on dangerous seas, who named the Fatechangers for the flying ship, the Winds of Fate, that they were brought by Master Gamble to fly, for the then unfortunately named Finger Gang.
They needed a rebranding. Their marketing was terrible.
but you have heard of us. Brenna the Axe, a small gnome with a barbaric joy for battle, from a town that now lays still, displaced in time when they were trapped in the Feywild, but stumbled upon by Akka and Shae when they needed allies the most. At least at that time. At the end of our campaign, your party had slain the mindflayer lich Ziestriess, turning back tides of undead that were sweeping across the formerly peaceful communities of Dominion. Unfortunately, in that fight, your elf artificer Akka was slain nobly in battle. Less nobly, he was squashed underfoot by your 30-foot-tall treant companion Oakfeld, preventing lesser magics from reviving him and actually several greater ones.
Associate.
Companion.
He left because
murderer.
it's hard to come back from that.
Murderer. I would say
No quotes.
elf murder. Luckily, as Lorebinders arrived, the massive Lorebinder Boron, a Goliath with blue robes taut against a chiseled body, with tiny glasses perched atop their head, cashed in a resurrection stone. And with the benefits of a long rest and some additional magic, Akka was restored from the ring of mind shielding that he had been stored in upon his death, now resting around Brenna's finger much emptier than it had been before. Akka has now rejoined your party. Your elf artificer in gleaming infiltrator armor, much more three-dimensional than you had last seen him.
He was black.
Less liquid.
That brings us to today, the 17th of the melting. 1470, Third Age, a mere 13 years before the Wandering Hearts would begin their adventures across the Emerald Expanse on the continent of Everest. The red sands of Kalipsos swirl in a constant maelstrom. You can see windblown arches of stone that have eroded and other pillars of stone that have eroded a little bit less with marks of civilization around them. There is lightning and thunder that crackle overhead in the mud-brown clouds that swirl like agitated smoke above. And you can see behind you the burning bastion, a jutting structure of metal and dark stone. its top hundreds of feet up, but the burning orange runes that in Celestial had danced around it, now dulling to a dull gray. Near its top is the charred chapel, where 8 hours ago, the mindflayer lich Ziestriess was felled for good, and the Fatechangers passed from being mere heroes into legend. The survivors of this battle made their way down to the surface, where a portal had been opened by the Lorebinder Order of Mages at the instruction of the listener, who felt the defeat of the undead Illithid. A bridgehead was secured, as a dozen Zinni monks and half again their number of Lorebinders stand guard, in full battle attire, to keep the portal open. 50 feet off from the blue glow of this portal, the lone color shift amongst the howling red sands, in the cover of runes that was once perhaps an armory, are the Fatechangers. You find the temperature has begun to drop since your defeat of Ziestriess to a mere 100 degrees or so, and you can shed the hot weather gear that you were wearing. Though you will be uncomfortable, you will not be mechanically damaged. Starting with Alana and going around the room, skipping Vincent for the moment, could you please describe what your character looks like?
So, Eleanor is a human, pretty tanned for her complexion due to many years spent outside the sun, and short hair that is well kept, but always kind of looks like it's been blown in the sea breeze for a little bit too long. She wears relatively simple but nice clothes and mostly leather armor. And at this point, she is looking a little worse for wear despite being healed up to full. I think the long time in Kalipsos and the several times she was impaled on various objects has kind of caught up with her a little bit. But she's put on a brave face for the sake of her friends in the middle of this truly horrific experience.
So Brenna the Axe is a gnome. She's about 3.5 feet tall. She's got dark hair that she wears in a very long braid, which has multiple rings woven into it. She has an enormous axe with her, slightly comically large for her size, but she wields it with ease. She also is looking slightly worse for wear, but also she's, she looks kind of relieved because not only is the battle done, but her friend Akka is back. And she did watch him get squished, and it was not awesome.
It's pretty not awesome.
Yeah, so she's maybe just sitting sharpening her axe.
Okay, and the axe is huge.
Yeah.
For Brenna, it's almost comically large. It should be like tipping you over, but easy for you, just kind of holding it, keeping the blade keen. Shae.
Shae is a human with a short haircut. It was cut poorly the last time it was, but it has grown out a little bit now.
Kind of feathery, right?
There are little
Forgot about
maybe
that.
hints of some feather, auburn hair. She's about 5'6" and dressed as you would expect a monk would, but it is all white, though that is, I'm sure, beginning to start turning gray by now.
Maybe like reddish?
Maybe a little reddish.
Clay red?
Yeah. It is fading. She also wields a slender staff of twinkling celestial diotic metal that rises to a twisted cage of iron ribbing shaped to hold a brilliant fist-sized ball of chaotic energy.
The Staff of Twisted Fates, an artifact of some power. And then, finally, fresh out of this resurrection,
Pink-skinned.
having benefited from not one, but 4 long rests, as you are able to, with the benefit of several catnaps, your trancing time, etc., get rid of the -4 penalty that is accumulated from this.
I'm a shiny golden god.
You can see a friend. Yeah, basically.
Born again!
And then just immediately sat up. But please describe how Akka looks.
I guess newfound vigor, being alive, for the first time, not with the burden of being part of an undead, undying mindflayer lich's plans for the better part of his life. Looking pretty good. for, having just died. Like a tawny-skinned elf with very wild, messy, dark hair, and wearing a shiny, oily green black armor with now holding this very intricate metallic orange metallic arm that was the artificing arm that Drea had crafted him. Drea is the mentor dragonborn that probably is going to be really pissed off at Akka the next time they meet, since Akka unleashed, or partly unleashed, a dragon into the world. They had that conversation, but it's not over yet.
Started that conversation.
Kind of
pausing this because the world is ending, but we will.
Yeah, so
Wandering Hearts
sitting in kind of sitting there in hell, fiddling with this arm to try and get it to be functional so that they can use it to get out of this hell. Everything is smile, smile, and then all of these things are kind of dawning, and it's oh, cool. Oh, so we have to get out of here, and then I have to go back to Drea, and then I'm probably gonna die again. Okay.
Yeah. And very thankful for Lorebinder Boron using this very expensive item, temporary though it may be, to bring you back. For all of you, you see another figure step forward from near the area of the portal. In the darkness of this demiplane, he is clearly visible from the luminous blue eyes that seem to see much more than just the things in front of them. Small of stature, but commanding a tremendous presence and respect from the Zinyi gathered, is the halfling known as Gamble Overbrook. But they now wear the mantle of the listener, the guiding voice of the Zinyi in their post-Squall's End existence from the schism of the order that caused their home to be destroyed. And Gamble says, "There are none who would argue that you have not earned rest, but the currents of time never cease, and Joruxa ceases least of all. I can hear some of his words, perhaps in the wind, but I think in my heart as well. You must all be exhausted, so I've pulled help from Yorn, and he should be arriving any moment." And at this moment, there is a flicker within this portal, and Vincent, can you please describe your character as I step through?
Sure, you all see an old-looking human wearing a robe, looking what I look like, which is different than what the other lore binders, because they also have a combat vest on, but Ernold doesn't get called into these type of missions very often. He just happened to be the one around when y'all needed help, so...
He picked up the phone. Yeah.
That was
Hello.
Boron ran into the hallway, was like, "Is there anybody here who can help?" And then Earl was like, "Me." It was like, "Anybody." Anybody at all.
Hi.
Oh, very well. So yeah, no problem.
Hello, you must be the Fatechangers.
You can see Gamble turns, kind of gestures to this older-looking individual, and kind of gives a bit of a bow, and says, "This is Ernold. They are a great user of magic, I'm told, and they should prove useful in the journey ahead. Ernold, every soul that stands before me deserves rest in the glimmering oasis. For within the cage of each of the chests here beat the heart of a hero. That is why you are here today as well. Ziestriess may threaten Dominion no more, but the greatest threat is still amongst the floating stones of Kalipsos. Joruxa. There was a time that I thought I might be able to read Joruxa's intentions like letters on a page, but I was wrong. I cannot see his mind clearly. Like a moth to flame, I was drawn to the wrong conclusion and couldn't see his damaged mind for what it was. Locked away. And then there are murmurs through the crowd. You see 2 more Zinni push their way through, both badly wounded, but bandaged and standing under their own power. With silver eyes cast, or long silver hair that is kept up in the section ponytail, you can see Era. Cheeks splashed with these paler patterns. The eyes almost resemble stars in the darkness here. Normally she carries a staff as an implement of battle and focus, but right now using it a little bit more like a crutch. The second of these individuals has curly hair, sand-colored, that springs out messily. You can see it has elements of like leather cord that keeps it loosely in braids. This is an individual that you know as Hylan. She has these red clay-colored eyes, bare arms that have these almost ritual scars on them. She has changed back into the Zinni garb that seems very fresh. Era is still wearing the battle-worn uniform from 8 hours ago. And Era says, "This was not your mistake, listener, but my own deception. When a knot falls loose, they who twisted the rope should bear the blame." And she steps forward, and Gamble inclines his head, now stepping back. Era says, "My father was wounded greatly. I know not by what, but the pain in his heart was never healed. It made him hollow, and he filled that space with determination. He was promised what was lost, and became blind to what he was party to." Hylan turns and steps forward and says, "I tracked him as far as I could, but none of us are fit for fighting at present. They've taken something from the broken fields and gathered along bits of ground floating through the void of Kalipsos, a highly defensible spot. You will need to cross a great distance, likely through armed resistance, and then put a stop to whatever the roach is doing at the wreckage on the largest one." Is anybody else saying anything?
The roach?
Rest now, mother.
Era turns, looks to you, and she tilts her head, and she says, "If there was more that I could do, I would. But
No.
there is some magic that is keeping any of us from being able to look beyond. I do not know what you walk into, daughter, but it will be dangerous.
Where's the magic coming from?
We don't know. Likely somewhere within this region."
They are floating stones?
You can see Era, Hylan, and Joruxa, or not Joruxa. Oh shit! He's here! And Gamble all turn, and Hylan actually points. And to the north, you can see away from the major landmass that you are all on, there is just little floating dots. The first maybe 50 feet away from the main landmass, the next maybe 150 feet beyond that, and then fading out and into the sandstorm beyond. When there's crackles of this arcane lightning, you can see backlit, there are just floating hunks of land around this space. And it would really require kind of hopping from one to the other.
Well, I can go see if I can figure out what's going on over there.
We probably shouldn't split up at this point, but
No,
more just wondering how we're gonna get us all across. Is it like is it jumpable distances, or is it like, or is it like jumpable for Shae distances?
Brenna like rises 3 feet in the air, and she's like, "I can fly, and I'm really strong. I can carry you."
Yeah, but we also have our new friend here.
I can carry him too. And she's like,
Gamble will nod and say, "You will need to find ways of crossing great distance. There are places where you might step from one stone to the other, and others that might have several hundred feet between."
Right. Well,
Well,
I believe our ship is nowhere near here, so that's out.
"Did we leave it on top of a mountain for some reason?" Okay.
Yes.
Because we went on the top of it and came out the bottom.
Right.
The whole thing. Listen, I don't think any of us really intended to leave the ship behind permanently, but unfortunately, it's not here.
Semi-permanent.
So, we have flight. You can also...
I can fly.
You can fly. So, that... Shae, I'm not worried about you. Alright. Akka, you feel up to this? I know...
Yeah,
It's been
I mean,
kinda
as
strange.
up to it as, yeah, I'm in it.
Feeling...
Yeah, it's to be back.
Oh, all right.
Brenna's gonna hand out his ring and be like, "Do you want it back?"
Sure.
I think it had your soul in it for a second.
It was, in hindsight, I'm glad it worked, but yeah, if that hadn't worked, would have been really unfortunate. So, cool.
I'm glad you're back.
Thanks.
Ernold, was it?
Yes.
You seem to be lacking in armor.
Oh, right. I forget to put this on. I cast mage armor.
Shing! Okay.
There you go. Much more clothed is Ernold.
Forgive me, I was indecent.
So,
It's just a god piece.
when we came
Game.
way back, when we first came, there was a, like, not a pillar, but there was some sort of structure,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word, that was emanating like a shield of some kind that we had to disable, and we had to like kind of basically stand there for a few minutes while it was depowered.
Yep.
So Akka's thinking about that and thinking there's probably some source of this magic that's preventing us from getting forward.
It's not preventing you from going forward. All it's doing is preventing essentially divination magic.
Oh, okay.
How far do we have to travel again?
So looking out, you can see maybe 100 feet off of like the edge of this, and then it's just a sandstorm. So hard to tell. But Joruxa would tell you.
Gamble?
Sorry, yeah, gamble.
Joruxa everywhere.
I'm over here!
Hylan, actually, who is the one who did the scouting, would say, it's at least 20,000 feet away. I was able to follow the first half. But they're
Will there be
fast.
any place to rest should we go there? I think I can use my strongest magic to get there, but looking at you all, it doesn't seem like we
There's no
have
time.
any healers.
There's no time.
I have a single potion.
So I was gonna save it in case
I can keep
we were
myself
in
up a little
danger.
bit. I know
But,
cure wounds.
I'm
If
pretty
needed, I can have us windwalk there.
I think we should at least try on foot. I know it is not an ideal situation, but it seems like there's a lot between us and them, and the little I know of Joruxa, I feel like if we approach too fast, we might just end up in a trap.
Okay.
Why don't you save that spell, old man? Thanks for offering, though. What's your deal anyway? What are you good at?
Teaching.
Book reading. Oh.
Oh,
It would be best, I think, if we move quickly but quietly.
I can go first with Shae. Even if the sand is blinding, I should be able to get an idea of if anyone's there.
I'll come with you. I can hit any.
I get a
threat
feeling
like this.
that they're gonna assume that we're coming no matter what, so stealth is only gonna work for...
It may buy us several minutes then.
Alright,
No.
well, I'm following you.
20,000 feet.
Has anyone done the math? Like, how long does that take just on foot in general?
20,000 feet.
Are we talking like a full day of travel?
No, so you would imagine it's probably about an hour's trip if you were just walking that far.
Yeah.
You're not just walking that far, but you're also presumably flying in some way, shape, or form. So about an hour is pretty accurate. It depends on how you're going. If you're building bridges, if you're, jumping
and is it 20,000 feet just like nothing, or is it like huge land masses of stepping stones? And...
Huge land masses of stepping stones. So from where you're standing, you can see about 50 feet away. There is one that's maybe 50 feet wide. And then there is one maybe 150 feet beyond that is much wider, but it fades off into the sandstone. It could be 5 feet wider than you could see. It could be 1,000 feet wider than you could see. You don't really know. But given the general geography of this place, I would say make an Arcana check.
It takes us an hour and 6 minutes to get there. If we go at 30 feet per 6 seconds for the next
I said an hour because I
66.6
did the
hours.
math.
So,
I don't want to use this die anymore. 13. I did not roll well.
With a 13, as you look around at
It's
this
like-
place,
It's going to take us about an hour.
this is a place that was sort of cleaved off of another place by magic. You're looking at the remnants of stones that form sort of a chain, and that would indicate that probably there's directionality and sense to the way that they are, but what that might be, hard to tell.
Before we head off, Brenna's gonna be like, I think it might help if I'm a little mad. She's gonna go into a rage like, don't worry, I can do it quietly.
Are you going to punch yourself to keep going?
No, at level 18,
Endure.
it doesn't end until
nice.
unless I choose to end it or I'm incapacitated. When we
So
were in
real.
Gondar, she was just in a rage the entire time.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I specialize in transmutation magic.
Okay.
So that is magic that turns one thing into something else?
Exactly.
All right.
All right, we should probably move.
Shae, any words of wisdom or thoughts before we go and defeat what I have come to understand is your grandfather?
Yeah, what is the plan for facing Joruxa?
At this, Aero will say, whatever you have at your disposal, you should use. And know that Joruxa has a ring of resurrection on.
Ah,
That will need to be removed before you...
good to know.
We will take no prisoners. You should not either.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, used to that.
So chop off his hand? I could do that.
If anyone could...
She doesn't respond to that. You are talking about her father. But she doesn't quite respond to that.
Do we know that Joruxa has time magic, or has that just been implied?
You have no idea.
Okay.
I would say it's been a while since we played this campaign.
Yeah.
There was implication, but I would say you spent enough time around Shae to know that Shae can move in ways that like sort of suggest that time magic is happening when it's
okay.
not.
Yeah.
There may be elements of that to it, or it may lie somewhere in between.
Okay, I couldn't remember if that was ever like a confirmed thing or just
Definitely
like...
not confirmed.
Okay, cool.
Would a anti-magic field suppress the powers of a resurrection ring?
An anti-magic field, certainly, yeah.
Okay.
Or the breaker.
Also,
True. If I can get close to it,
That's
I might just
high.
be able
to
to.
hit a quarter inch.
All right, just put it on the ground and... Bing, boom!
That's just a wild AC to call a shot on a ring. I just did a quick mental math on that.
Damn.
But yeah, no problem. That would definitely work.
All right.
Since I went into my rage, if anyone hits me, they take 1d6 force damage.
There you go.
Nice.
So Gamble says, "I know you can all do it," and pats you on the back.
All right. We're off. Yeah. I mean, all right.
Okay.
I think Eleanor would try to not be in the front because I don't think she could ever outpace
Aka's
Shae.
gonna fly.
I was about to say, I think Shay's probably up at the front.
Aka's
So-
probably flying as close behind Shae as possible, which is not super close behind.
So it
So
sounds like
spread out a little
everyone
stick.
is able to fly on their own. I can.
No.
Yeah.
I can turn into a bird.
Um,
I'll be
pretty good.
quite defenseless though. I'm not. It's not gonna.
Why don't I just, you look pretty, and she kind of just, like, is this okay? And experimentally, because I just remembered Brenna just picks people up whether they like it or not, she's going to kind of
Squishy
like,
wizard.
Oh dear.
so if you, and then put him down and be like, so you can save that if you want.
I find that if you kind of bring your arms in a little bit, so she can kind of, it helps.
How are you getting there?
I'm just on foot for now, and then once we
What
get to,
about for the stepping stones?
I can jump
I can
easily.
carry
I
you
can-
too.
Yes.
Yeah, we've
So-
done this.
This is
we've done
usually
this.
how we solve
Yeah.
problems. We just,
Well-
the ones who can fly carry the ones who can't,
Well,
and then
also-
Shae just jumps.
Figure it out.
I just did
I'm
my
stronger than I
calculation.
look.
My natural jump distance is 40 feet.
Wait, your jump distance?
From like a standstill.
Yeah.
I seem to recall that mechanically Brenna
Just-
can carry two people, but
No
she can't
warm-up.
really do anything else.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So also, For now, just because being a rogue, I can move pretty quick, and I do have a pretty decent chance at making a jump. Should it be a reasonable distance, and then I'll just hop on with all
You
of it.
sure can. As you think about that, I will say you kind of step up to the edge, all of you repairing. Beyond this large chunk of land that you stand on, there is just abyss, dropping away into the swirling sandstorm to a distant, dull, and angry red that howls endlessly below. Interspersed with hunks of stone that are more blackened and charred than most. Sand pelts at your face. Even with the shelter of camp around you here, beyond this space, it will probably cause physical damage. There is thousands of feet that stand between you and your destination. You know, at least 20,000 feet. These stone islands are scattered hundreds of feet apart in places. If you fail one of these jumps, it's a really high stake, for what it's worth.
Are we expecting any submersion in water where we're going?
So
I can't see beyond
this.
No.
When it says this, it's 100 degrees. So it's
For, like,
at a
Did no
temperature
one
where
tell you
water.
this was going to be a desert
No,
planet?
you got hustled in. So, for what it's worth, probably not. For free.
You have that thing that if somebody falls, you can make it so that they're like a feather.
Feather fall.
Yeah.
It's called feather.
Okay, that'll be you. Why don't you keep that in your back pocket?
Ernold, I would say you, as an arcane scholar, know that one of the things about featherfall that's really important is you only start feather falling once you get close to the ground. If there is no ground, it doesn't really do anything.
Oh. I look over and I look down, and then I relay that.
Okay, wow.
So they'll just fall forever. Magically.
All right, off we go.
It's flying.
Yeah. Brenna's gonna be close to Arnold. She's gonna be like, "Do you want me to just?" Okay, and she's gonna scoop him up and follow Akka.
Okay. So you kind of go
Thank
like
you.
this.
She's like,
It
"No,
does
keep your
help.
arms free in case you need to cast something." And she's got her axe in her other hand. See, I'm ready.
No problem. It's just this tiny.
She's carrying him on her hip like
And
a
it's,
baby.
it's really uncomfortable too because this is a gnome, tiny arm, lots of pressure across a very small surface area. So just like stabbing you in the side, but very easily transporting you across.
And she's like, "Just let me know if you need me to put you down."
So you're
But she
flying,
does not.
Shae, you can leap across. Akka, you're flying.
Wait,
Eleanor,
how big are these gaps? One more time.
the first one's 50 feet.
Oh, okay.
The next one's 150 feet.
Gotcha.
So we'll catch up there in a
Extra
second.
long
So,
one.
for the 50-foot gap,
Yeah.
Eleanor will take a look at it and be like, Akka, may
Yeah.
I catch a ride?
That was, except on air.
Put my arm out.
So, with your older wizard companion and your younger swashbuckling rogue, transported via the old-fashioned piggyback method, you make your way into the howling winds of Kalipsos. Sand pelts at your face as you move away, and as you make your way across, to sort of cross this chain of broken stones, this is going to end up being a little bit of a group skills check.
Excellent.
So the way that this is going to work, there is sort of 3 segments of this journey. As you go across, each of you is able to use a skill. You can cast a spell. You can do something to aid the journey here. The distance between these stones varies from like 50 to, in some places, up to 500 feet. So there's a lot of opportunities to be able to kind of cross. Yeah.
As this kind of dawns on us, Brenna's going to be like, "Gather around, everybody. Does anyone want some help with making sure you're skilled enough to do this?" And she, like, in one hand, she's got like a little mote of magic. She's like, "I can help."
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait.
So she's going to use her bolstering magic feature. So you can add anyone who wants. I have like 6 charges. So if you want, you can roll an extra D3 when making an attack roll or an ability check and add it to your D20. I have here a D3. Only one though.
And you pass out this little charm, kind of tapping each of your companions with the
How long
flat
does that
part of your
last?
axe.
It lasts 10 minutes. So
Oh.
okay.
Let's wait until we're a little closer. to
Okay,
the
save it for later. Just let me know if you're feeling like you need a little bolstering magic. And she looks at Ernold. She's like, "Not you."
Oh, you, not you.
So for this first stage of the trip, you also don't need to do anything. You all have the ability to fly. You can just fly, taking no precautions whatsoever, and just move
I would
on.
want to take some precautions.
At least looking around.
I
Right?
literally just died.
Yeah.
And
I think Eleanor would be keeping her eye out as best she can, but also I do have blind sense within 10 feet.
Great.
So should have a little bit of warning should anything
That's
try
true.
to sneak up on us out of the sand.
An arrow.
Yeah.
I have a
getting
passive
pelted by
perception of
sand.
18.
Also true. What?
Are we getting pelted by sand?
You are. It's
I would
bad.
like to continually just keep casting shield because I can cast it an infinite number of times to just kind of maybe hopefully deflect some sand away from Brenna and I.
Okay, so
Ooh, do I
the
get
first
that?
thing that's happening,
No.
Arnold is
Well,
using shield
asking for it.
repeatedly to be able to just create a windscreen for all of you. And it is definitely helpful, especially as there is just this howling wind, and there are places where the sand is sharper than others, kind of these darker clusters of sand. That's what you're doing. Is somebody
Actually-
else helping over this segment?
Instead of that, let me just ask, and since we're asking stuff, I have 5th level control winds. When I cast it though, it's in just one spot, 100-foot cube. Is there any way I can kind of use it and just have it follow us instead?
So what I will say is control winds. That's a
Level
great
18,
spell.
man.
It's a 5th level spell.
Yeah. I would say.
I wish.
It's not really.
What if I upcast it?
I would say you don't have to upcast it. So what I'll say is, if you want, you can cast that spell. It'll have a very big benefit to this leg of the journey, for sure. I think it's definitely worth doing.
Cool. It's quite windy here. Let's see if I can do something about that. And I cast control winds.
Okay. So you cast Control Wind and you focus it around your party. You are not a young man. You've had some time to use the spell, and so you can focus it a little bit more keenly. There is a check that you're going to be making in the future, and the DC has gone down substantially.
Nice.
So that is what Ernold's doing. Is anybody else doing anything to help over this first part of the journey?
Can I use my persuasion to give Akka a pep talk?
The wind's howling.
Wind's howling.
Listen, I have a bunch of skills, but none of them are for flying. I don't know what you guys want me to do if my
Channel
ship's
them
not here.
into a wind tunnel around you. You keep most of the really sharp elements of sand, and you're recognizing there are shards of glass-like sand that now and then whistle by. There is a moment where a huge cluster of them swirls through. And can everybody make a dexterity saving throw?
Is this against magic?
It is not.
Oh, but is it? Can I see it?
You.
I forgot I'm Brenna, not Olina. Is this against an effect that I can see while not blinded, deafened, or incapacitated?
Nice.
Not really. It's sharp grains of sand moving through other grains of sand.
A natural
Fair
20.
enough.
Natural 20.
Gotta
That's
use
absolutely a
one of
success. And
gotta
as
use
a
one
rogue,
of
you take 0 damage.
I take 0 damage. It's great.
27.
I'll gladly share the
is a
natural
success.
20 with Akka if it means him not falling to his death with me.
He's not going to fall to his death.
Did you say Dex?
Yeah,
Dex save.
21.
that is a success.
Let me just make sure I don't have anything
Go on.
for this. 'cause
21.
I feel like I.
That is a
I
success.
feel like I would've
also just
had
want to say, with the exception of Eleanor, none of you would have been successful were it not for Ernold.
Nice.
Damn.
The original DC was a DC 30. That
What's the DC right now? Because
Magic.
mine's bad. 14, and I'm deciding if I want to use Flash of Genius to make it a 19. Because I do have things.
What are
for
you
this
doing?
Yeah, Flash of Genius is a 19.
the DC is 20. You take 27 points
Oh,
of
damn.
slashing damage as you are caught. You kind of see it coming for just a moment. You turn, you shield Eleanor from the bulk of the sand. For you, Eleanor, it is a musical sound of like little shards of obsidian just pinging off his armor, but lots of it are getting just embedded into the arm itself. You can now feel, you kind of like raise up your mechanical arm ready to block it, but you realize at the last second no longer mechanical. And you just take shards of obsidian into your flesh.
Oh, that's not metal
You
anymore.
are kind of blown, and for a second you can see Akka is blown about 30 feet off course, And for just a moment, you can see like the sands overtaken, but you imagine that would have been closer to 100 feet, and there would have been drastically more substantial consequences.
How much damage?
See, my dear, this
27
is the
points,
type of
seriously.
thing transmutation magic can do.
But you are able
Okay.
to pull back into your party, and you can continue on.
As we're going, just in terms of like what we're doing, can I be sort of like on the lookout for threats? Obviously, like it's sandy, whatever, but can I make a perception check?
Yeah. So for the second leg of this journey, you are making a perception
Can
check
I
to keep an
also?
eye out. You already have, well, if you would like, but that would be the only other thing for this leg of the journey.
16.
16, okay. You look around, and then as you're watching, there are places here where there are now 1,000 to 2,000 foot gaps. You are steadily finding places where there are larger spans between these huge spaces, and some places where it's just little islands. You would have been hopping hundreds of feet across to just land on 5 foot wide spaces. This would have been very challenging. You think back to Eleanor trying to jump, that would not have worked here. No matter how many natural 20s you roll. But you don't see a whole lot beyond that. Is there anything else anybody's doing for this section of this?
I have a thing that I can try, but does anyone else have anything that they want to try?
I am a rogue.
What's the current obstacle? Just a big
I
gap?
don't know what
It's
you
big
want.
gaps. You're flying right over it. No problem.
So same thing.
You said obstacle
Is
because-
the wind still kicking up obsidian?
Did I
and
say
stuff?
that?
Every now and then, but no, that was like a big cloud of it that had gone by.
Okay. Since
Okay,
I
then
did
this
a
probably wouldn't work
larger
as well.
stretch,
Yeah.
I will use Akka as kind of like a bridge for myself.
Okay, easy. You use Akka as a bridge for yourself.
A
Question.
bridge.
I
In
have
what
defensive
sense?
duelist.
I
Sure.
jump and land
Is there
on
any
them.
way I can use
Well, I can
the
just- I'll swing.
the
for
dancing
it.
rapier
I'll
to kind of
fly,
help
grab my
deflect
arm.
any pieces of windblown
Enough
detriment
teamwork at
to
this
like
point.
from hitting Akka?
You can. So now that like Akka has all these shards, you have the rapier kind of flick up, and it begins to kind of swish around, and you can hear every now and then there is a ping as it does deflect a needle of obsidian away, but that big cloud is gone. It doesn't. It would have been really helpful a little bit ago, but you keep it up just in case, and that serves as a ward perhaps for Akka. And
Shae is also kind of swinging around him, so trying to keep things away from him.
If you want, you can also use the rapier as a bouncing off point.
okay. So yeah,
Very
especially using the rapier and Akka as anchors, you're able to cross fairly easily.
I'm going to drop my rage and then immediately go back into it to try to get hell yeah. Okay, anyone within 10 feet of me gets a +1 bonus to AC.
Hell yeah. Very helpful here,
You're
especially
welcome.
as the sand is buffeting you. That is a substantial amount of protection against sand. It feels a lot better to cross this space. You can see a little bit better. And this second portion of this kind of chain of islands, you were able to hop across, no problem. You spent maybe like 30 minutes doing this, and you begin to get to a place where those large islands have dropped away completely. Now just hunks of rock that maybe are 20 feet across at the biggest. Some of them are just hunks of rubble stuck together almost by the force of gravity, it looks like. And so certainly just difficult terrain, the entire thing. You would imagine that there is no more than 1,000 feet between you and your eventual destination. With the howling sand here, you can't see it. Is there anything that you're doing as you cross this final stretch?
This howling sand, is it going to buffet me in a similar way? Is it like that much?
It might.
Or does it seem like it's as...
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to cast stone skin or bark skin? Stone skin on myself.
Okay. So up above you, Eleanor, you can hear this crackling and the ting, 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 ting as the armor like pops out in a few places because the density just increases substantially. But no problem, you're still flying. Anybody else?
I'm still maintaining concentration on control winds.
Okay.
It lasts up to an hour.
What are passive perceptions here?
18. Oh, that's better.
18.
16.
Because Alina's is like 11.
Ori's is
Passive
28.
investigation is 21, though.
You fly across this space, And with a passive investigation of 21, there's not a whole lot to find. Here in a library, browsing through like a catalog of books where that would be very useful. You're having sand pelt you in the eyes. It's not the most pleasant experience.
Oh, man.
But at least it's been relatively safe. At least it was.
Damn.
As you follow this chain, there is a point where you cross an area where this land would be very narrow beneath you. Just single points of rock spaced maybe 20 feet out from each other. And in that moment, as you are crossing, there is a kind of quick sound of movement. And Shae, for you, you are aware of this net of monks closing in around you. Let me pull out a visual perspective as you are ambushed.
Yay.
Can you guys pull that island off? This is
As a barbarian, I don't think I can be
do
surprised.
not be surprised. So no surprise round.
Okay.
But I am going to start you all off physically where I want.
Okay,
That's
fair
fair.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a seltzer. While this comes out, I'll be right
What's
back.
I
anyone else
also
want one?
request a
I'll just grab
seltz.
Yeah.
Seltzies
Whoop.
first.
So
I got this corner.
this corner, let me just get this.
Watch that seltzy there. Bang boom.
Sorry. Hannah, please.
All right.
Sorry.
So
Very cool.
you can see on the battle map, there is no ground beneath you. That is just swirling sand. There's swirling sand over top and around as well. From this kind of vantage point, if you guys all want to place yourselves around that center point,
Where do we go?
we have all these little flying things over here too, if they're helpful.
And as a reminder, anyone within 10 feet of me has +1 to AC, but that's probably gonna change as soon as I get hit. So
You can see that around you there are these kind of elements of rock. Any of the ones that are just those like kind of rumbly things where those two monks are standing over there, for instance, that is difficult terrain. And so you imagine, we'll have all the associated kind of cost. The only things that you can really stand on here are these stones. Otherwise, you do need to fly or you fall.
Makes sense.
With the control wind still active, Ernold,
Yeah.
for the moment, you are not taking damage every round. Should that drop,
Oh
you will
boy.
begin to take damage every round.
Concentrate.
So am I still holding you then, Ernold?
So
Currently, yeah.
Okay.
But you can.
if you can all place yourselves within 10 feet of that central kind of column of stone, right as you fly over top, that is when the person that is standing on that kind of leaps up and the other ones on either side kind of leap into attack.
So
Me
with
next.
me.
Yeah. So wherever we are, we're
And
not
with,
together.
with Brenna being unable to be surprised, Brenna's able to alert you all to this as they kind of close in. Shae's able to hear this happen.
I'm like, bah!
Yeah, but everybody's rolling for initiative raw.
Anyone within
Raw.
10 feet of
We're
me,
raw
no
dogging it.
initiative.
That's true. You're still like, wait, it hasn't happened yet. And then it's going to be like, oh, wait, boom. But no problem.
How's that?
And everybody can go ahead and just roll for initiative.
Oh my god.
So
initiative,
you're
I rolled a 4 and a
effectively
3.
underneath me. I would imagine.
Or sorry, with
Yeah.
advantage, I mean.
I'm carrying you.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, that's a booty
that?
butt roll. Butts,
Booty butt roll.
butts, and more butts.
Don't I have? I feel like did I have things for this?
Be calculated, right?
Gosh,
Yeah, because a +10 is pretty.
Akka was so strong. Oh yeah,
He's a strong boy.
Eyes of the Eagle.
Do you have the
I had
Murphy?
advantage on.
No, I have rakish audacity.
I got my
The
goggles.
audacity.
I do have the
So
audacity.
that I don't get helped
I was
in
just
the
double
eyes
checking
by
before
the
decapitated.
sand.
That's good.
Cara would mind if I used.
Say Shae would
Alright.
say it's a trap.
Okay. It's a trap.
I'm gonna use Cara's cool dice tray.
Okay, anybody natural 20?
My passive investigation says yes, it is.
30 to 25. 25 to 20.
24.
24 for Eleanor. Okay, 20 to 15.
19.
18.
19 for Akka. Was there another 19?
18.
Okay, 18 for Shae. 15 to 10. What about Brenna?
7.
7, and then Ernold.
7.
That makes sense.
I'm assuming Brenna has a slightly higher dexterity.
Probably. I think I've got like a +2.
There you
I also
go.
have a +2.
Oh no, sorry, I have a +3.
Okay, there you go. So, the way that this works out,
I'm held.
Eleanor
I
is
can't
starting
act
out,
yet.
followed by all of the Ninth Path monks, followed by Akka, and then Shae, and then Brenna, and then Ernold. Eleanor, as you are held aloft by Akka, I love that. That's great use of the stands, by the way. You can maybe see it on the battle cam, but you'll be able to see it in much greater detail at AlberonRPG on Instagram if people take pictures. With Akka carrying you, Eleanor,
Yes.
what are you doing as you are told it is a trap and you can see right now these people closing in on you?
Alright, so I can see them. Alright, cool. So the rapier is already active. So what I'm going to do is I will look upon the one that is closest to us right here.
Mhm.
Let's see here. I'm just double checking my.
Pulling all my correct dice also right now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because I'm not in control of my own movement right now, I'm going to use my bonus action to steady aim to give myself advantage,
Okay.
and I wish to steadily aim the rapier at this monk's face.
Okay. You steadily aim the rapier at this monk's face. Which one? The one right in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one right here,
No
and
problem.
I will then send the rapier on its laser target.
No
towards
problem.
that
Make
monk.
an attack roll.
This is just
At
where
advantage
I
due to
don't
steady
want
aim.
Yeah.
Is Shae capable of riding the rapier in with it?
Oh my
No.
god.
To battle! Okay.
I do like that idea, but no.
Dang it.
It's
I
like
would
an
be so
Ant-Man
cool.
going up
I
Thanos'
do really-
butthole situation.
Alright, does a 27 hit?
27 does hit.
Alright, excellent. So that is many dice, because this is going to be a sneak attack, because I've got advantage. Alright, let's roll this one first. Just get out of the dice tray. Okay, excellent. And then... average. Okay, so let's see. Beep. Way more math than I've done in a while, because there's a lot of dice here. Plus 18, that is 5? My calculator.
Joe, can I say that this has happened, as I know that? And that is in effect.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, that is
Thank you.
42 points of magical piercing damage.
Very nice. 42 points of magical piercing damage as you kind of steady aim and this rapier right over your shoulder. You gesture and it fires forwards, and you can see for just a moment they reach out to try to grab it and deflect it. But this is not a ranged weapon attack. It is just making the sword move and make an attack from there. And so they are unable to make this dodge. You pierce straight through their shoulder as they are not able to grab around it, and that hurts them. Anything else?
I have my bonus action and my action. I don't think hiding would be super helpful.
Remember that time you were impaled and you hid anyway?
Yeah, but I also just did burn my butt.
That was
So I
pretty
think
good.
everything else is on reactions, right?
It depends. Can you like camouflage
an
into
action.
sand? It is sandstorming.
I
Very
did take the
helpful.
actor feat, but I don't think that will help me very much here.
I am armor.
That is action. Okay, that is. I will not be moving because I'm currently unable to move under my own power, and I use steady aim. Therefore, I am done.
Excellent. That brings us to the monks.
No, we don't want that. Those guys are mean.
So, you can see this Aarakocra is going to fly up at Eleanor, seeing the sword flying from their hand. This monk.
Dagger.
Oh, easy.
So are we technically sharing the same space since I'm carrying?
Is he flying?
Yes,
Or-
they are.
Oh, that's a good question.
Shae is technically on top of Aka.
Like riding on his shoulders.
Right on his shoulders.
We have a very strange sort of totem pole
Can you pass me
situation
those
going
other?
on.
We're going to stack everybody on this one plastic bag. This is the first time this has been super, super helpful. Okay. There we go. And
We
then-
don't have air battles nearly enough.
No, but with a whole bunch of high-level monks, this is great. I'm very excited.
So
Okay,
they're all flying?
all of them leap up, and it's unclear at first if they're flying. It looks at first as if they are just kind of leaping, but for those who do not have wings, they do seem to be able to kind of come to a stop as they are about to unleash this kind of flurry of blows. But with all of them closing in here, the way that these attacks are going to break up, with Eleanor being the first to attack, you're getting one attack. Two of them will be attacking Shae, and then one will be attacking Brenna, one will be attacking Ernold. So for you, Eleanor,
It's just
Quick question.
Yes.
So for reaction defensive duelist, that would be after they attack. I can choose whether or not to use it.
reaction defensive duelist. Give me
Yeah.
1 second here.
So defensive duelist, if you're wielding a finesse weapon which you are proficient in, another creature hits you with a melee attack. So I'm guessing that's use your reaction, so it's after whether or not it's been chosen.
Correct.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure before, because I plan to use it.
We'll see. Okay, so they are going to, this Aarakocra flies up and they strike out at you. The first attack is going to be a 29 to hit.
Yeah, that would hit. Actually.
Second attack is only going to be a 15 to hit.
Okay, that would miss.
And then the third attack is going to be another 29 to hit. Look
Okay,
at these
so
great
the
rolls.
+6 would be moot.
There you
Anyway, so I'll hold my reaction for something better.
go. You are taking 6 points of damage from the first, plus 4 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
And then you are taking
You have +1 to AC.
6 points of bludgeoning damage from the
So
second,
It didn't matter.
No.
plus 1 point of necrotic damage. And can you make a Constitution saving throw as
Sure
the
can.
second strike, or the second strike hits you right in the sternum, and you feel it reverberates through the nerves of your body.
No. Is it this kind of monk? Is it a punch monk? What about a 7? I
You are
am not
stunned
Minka.
as you are hit. It is like all of your limbs just kind of lose movement and lock up, and you are glad that Akka is holding you because there is nothing that you can do right now. You are stunned until the end of the monk's next turn.
Yep.
As a bonus action, they're going to use Flurry of Blows, take 2 additional attacks against you, and I believe these are at advantage.
Yeah, so stun is lack of movement or lack of all actions. Or
Lack of all actions. Stun's a
including
bad one,
actions,
Yeah.
So the first one at advantage is going to be only a 19 to hit.
That still hits.
There we go. The second one is going to be much higher than that. The first one is going to be 10 points of bludgeoning damage plus 4 points of necrotic damage. The second one is going to be 10 points of bludgeoning damage plus 2 points of necrotic damage. That is the first of the monks. The
Oh boy.
ones that close in around you, Shae, you can see the human rises up. They twirl this quarterstaff around almost like a helicopter's blade before bringing it down in a single blow. That is going to be a super high, 28 to hit.
That'll hit.
Second one will be a 26 to hit.
That'll hit.
And then the third one is going to be a 24 to hit.
That will hit.
There we go. Okay. And then I have one more, right? Because there's 2 guys. Last one is going to be, that's also a hit, 26 to hit. So 4 hits. They unload these attacks on you. First one is going to be 9 points of bludgeoning damage plus 1 point of necrotic. Ooh. Second one is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning damage plus 1 point of necrotic damage. Third one is only going to be 9 points of bludgeoning damage plus a single point of necrotic damage. And the final one will just be 8 points of bludgeoning damage and 4 points of necrotic damage.
It's a casual 46.
Each of them, as a bonus action on that last hit, they just, it is strike after strike after strike, will use their bonus action to infuse harming energy into their fists. You can see it is like pallor joins into their face. They use their own vitality to give you an additional.
That's not
Where are my
nice.
d10s? An additional 26 points of poison damage from the first. And only, ooh, that's lucky, 17 points of poison damage from the second. That is Grisly Wounds for 2 and 3. That is action, bonus action for those. Then we go over to the one for you, Brenna.
Hello.
This person is going to be taking 3 attacks against you. Okay. That is going to be 29, 28,
Yep.
and then 19.
Beats it.
All right. Brenna. Damn, these guys are wailing on you guys. Da-da-da-da.
So about that armor.
Yeah.
That is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning damage from the first, plus 1 point of necrotic damage from the second. That is going to be 11 points of bludgeoning damage from the second, plus 1 point of necrotic damage. And then 10 points of bludgeoning damage from the third, and a single point of necrotic damage. That is the one against Brenna. And then finally shifting over to...
I'm gonna use my reaction to activate wild magic, which might matter if okay, I can do that. Or oop. Alright. It doesn't make a difference, but I can throw my axe now.
There you go.
That
The axe
might make a
becomes
difference
lighter.
later.
Yeah, but it doesn't help Ernold. I was hoping to get Ernold out of there.
This final monk flies up behind you,
Oh dear.
and they just unleash. They just unleash a flurry of blows right into the small of your back.
Chiropractor monk.
First is an 18 hit.
I cast shield, and that will miss.
Okay, and then there's another one that will certainly miss then as a result of that. The third one is going to be a 25 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. So Ernold, the tankiest out of all of them so far, and actually taking very little damage, only 7 points of bludgeoning damage, plus 4 points of necrotic damage.
Those are baby numbers, Ernold.
Yeah.
They are going to use a bonus action to use Flurry of Blows against you, because that was
God.
barely anything.
Please,
And
I'm
you're going
just
to
an
roll
old
really
man.
bad, too. Does a 17 hit?
Nope,
There
not
you
with
go.
the shield.
And an 18 doesn't hit also. So they unleash a full 5 blows against you, and you just hurning, really
like,
just kind of like, they're unable to break through this magical shield. Earl's not moving very fast, but the shield is very light. Very nice.
I like to think that monk is just embarrassed now.
He certainly is. And that brings us to Akka. Shae, you are on deck.
Cool.
Akka, all around you, the monks hold in, and then you are almost knocked off course as they hit Eleanor, and Eleanor locks up in your arms. You know that dropping Eleanor right now would be pretty dangerous.
Okay.
If you drop me, at least drop me on a rock.
Yeah, no,
We are not over a rock.
We're good.
Or at least gently toss me onto a rock.
So I think I can reach here with 35 feet
That's an individual
as
flight
my
paths
base
here.
movement speed. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna sorry, I gotta figure out the order of actions with this.
I know what
because,
I'm doing.
Alright, so I am going to use my action to cast Mirror Image on myself.
Okay.
And then I am going to bonus action Manifest Echo. So now there are 6 of me.
It's a lot of Akkas.
Yeah.
And I'm
At the start of
going
the session, there
to.
was 0.
So I'm going to manifest my Echo mechanically, I guess. Is this the Aarakocra
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was just wailing on
Yep.
Eleanor?
Yep.
Behind the Aarakocra. So I'm gonna
You can
move.
put this for the echo if you want.
I've got the Echo. Oh, thanks.
Just because for positioning,
Yeah,
that can
yeah,
grant
yeah.
advantage and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to. So up at the same height.
Okay.
But, you know,
No problem. Yeah.
there on that side of them, and then move down here
For what it's worth, when you draw away, the Aarakocra is going to take an attack of opportunity against Eleanor, but they're not going to punch Eleanor. They're going to grab on.
Oh no.
And because you cannot take a competing athletics check, they're just going to hold on. They wrap one arm around your throat, they wrap the other around your waist. You feel the air begin to get cut off, and that's probably not good. But they are grappling you, just kind of riding this fairy, and you can move the Aarakocra over with you.
Oh, just get dragged. The wing boy.
Yeah.
Wing boy.
That's fine. Because
Fine, Joe.
then I'm
Listen,
going
if Eleanor gets
to
taken out in the
use
skies, it's not she wanted to go anyway.
my action surge to use a second action,
Okay.
and I'm going to use my spell stored item Vortex Warp to move that fucker.
Very nice. Give me 1 second here. If you guys can't tell, we haven't played these characters in just a second. So these
Frantically reading
Vortex
Constitution saving throw.
Yes, Constitution
I
saving
once
throw.
get glad.
So first, they make that con saving throw. It would normally be a 13. However, they're going to use Indomitable. They're going to re-roll that.
Is that a reaction?
It is not. And they're only going to roll a 15.
They are shunted.
There you go.
So I can move them 90 feet away. I'm going to move him. I think I can throw him all the way over onto that. Because he has to land on a surface.
Yeah, you
or
put him
a
all the
body
way at
of
the very
water.
edge of that, I believe, because you can
Yeah.
technically move him, I think, even a little further than that.
Yeah, I
Do we
can
have
move
the
him.
60-foot thing?
Technically, I can
So
move
he's
him
like
at
he's
total
like right there.
Yeah, you put him all the
180
way
feet
back.
Oh,
because I
far
can
corner,
yeah.
target 90 feet
can-
away.
Yeah,
and then
that's the
move 90
furthest
feet.
point from this that you could put him at.
Yeah.
all the
Is
way.
he
So-
prone?
And that
or-
is about 90
No.
feet.
No,
So
he is just shunted away like
Once
that.
again,
But he does disappear. Suddenly,
And then-
you can see everything around you. The wind pelts your face again, and they are just right over on this empty platform or rock.
And then free action, I'm going to drop Eleanor safely onto the ground.
Okay, safely. Not a lot of dignity. You kind of just,
And just be like-
Eleanor down there.
Just get yourself together.
I'll just crumple.
That's helpful.
Free action
It's
crumple.
like you saw someone do bardic inspiration once. It was like, oh, maybe if I try to inspire her, but nothing happened.
Anything else, Akka?
I believe that's it for...
All right. Hey, great turn though. You got Eleanor out of danger. You shunted that dude all the way across the battlefield. That was really good.
Yeah.
That brings us to Shae. Brenna, you are on deck.
So
now
Shae
there's
is kind
6
of
of them.
riding Akka.
Mhm.
And I
So
guess I'm going to just move him up
she
here
is
for
going to
mechanical,
bonus action
like, make
haste.
it easier.
Okay.
and then patient defense is because she's moving away from the two
Okay.
that are with her.
Absolutely.
And the goal is to get over to the block there and help get Eleanor out of the way.
You want to get where?
So Shae is kind of riding Akka.
Okay.
I could have done
Get
it.
here over here and then down to help
I knew there was
But-
a reason.
Okay.
Eleanor
I could
somewhere.
have used what?
Where,
That's my...
you're trying to put Eleanor somewhere? Where are you trying to put Eleanor?
I could have used...
Down next to the rocks there.
Okay. Yeah.
you know,
Easy
just-
enough. Easy enough to do.
Yeah, so Shae was just along for the ride.
Yeah,
during that
right.
whole
Okay.
experience.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, you take patient defense, kind of taking a angle to protect Eleanor, who is quite defenseless in this moment. That is your turn. That brings us to Brenna.
All right.
Arnold, you're on deck.
Just trying to
I
measure.
realized I could have used
we
my
think
knife to make a
Yeah.
reaction attack.
Yeah.
That's why I
This
put it there.
is the
Totally
this is
forgot.
definitely 35 feet. Okay, so and so Brenna with Ernold is gonna fly down to here, which you can just make if the two of them stand here.
Okay. Anything for provoking attacks for opportunity?
I don't think I have anything.
Okay. So you're going to be taking 2.
Yeah.
Arnold will be taking 1.
Sorry.
So let's do Arnold first.
Okay.
Arnold, they're going to punch you as you leave.
I don't want to get punched.
Unfortunate as well, maybe not, because for whatever reason you have a tremendous amount of luck. It has a 17 to hit.
It's not.
We're just
It's
like,
not
how
luck.
are you
It's
doing
skill.
this?
It's
Right on.
skill. Shield.
Brenna. Not great rolls on Brenna either. 19 to hit.
Yeah.
And then the other one will hit as well. So Brenna, though Ernold is able to parry these away, you cannot. Your arm's full of old man. You take
He's so old.
it is 12 points of bludgeoning damage from the first, along with 2 points of necrotic damage, and 12 points from the second, along with 4 points of necrotic damage. And you just skate away, pulling this old man with you, invincible though he may be.
And then
We're here?
So
Yeah.
yes, and what I will say is that I'm gonna break up my movement.
Okay.
So when I am 20 feet away, I'm gonna throw my axe because I can do that.
Awesome.
I am choosing to not use my wild magic reroll when I get hit. So
So
and
you
I'm
fly down with Ernold. You're hit twice. Arnold's not. You kind of turn to protect Ernold with your body, and as you turn, you just fling the axe backhand.
Okay, and I do that. Oh no! Oh my god! Brenna is not rolling so well today. 23 to hit.
23 is a hit. Now, is that a ranged weapon attack?
It is. It's thrown. Yeah, it has the light and thrown properties.
As a reaction, they are going to attempt to deflect this as a missile. So
Fair enough.
Valid, but also
go ahead and roll damage. We're gonna see if they can.
That's gonna be 22 points of force damage.
Almost certainly they're going to be able to reduce this. Okay. That's a pretty bad roll. They reduce it by 24. How much was it?
22.
22. So as you throw the axe, it end over end, and they just catch it. It almost pulls them back. They are surprised by the momentum that you generate for this axe, and then they just take it and whip it right back at you.
So can they do that
Yes,
as
they
part of
can.
their reaction?
They can, yeah.
Oh, and no, that's not what I mean. It reappears in my hands at the end of my turn. So this is within the turn. Okay, fair enough.
That is going to be a 17 to hit.
Nope.
Oh,
There
wait.
you go.
You said they took the attack of opportunity.
Correct, they did, so they cannot do
So
that.
they
as a
can't play
reaction.
catch with Brenna right now.
Fair enough.
Oh,
They
would
do
have
take-
missed anyway, I'd like to say, but okay. So
They do
then at the
take-
end of my turn.
Which means
so,
they just take the damage.
They do.
Nice. So it's 22 points of force damage.
Very nice.
And then at the end of the turn, so if he's like, rah, and maybe he's getting ready to throw it back, but then it's like, pick, and back in Brenna's hands, and she's like, ha-ha!
Anything else?
Free action, she's gonna turn to Ernold and be like, whatever you got, bust it out, man. And then she's gonna prepare to fly back up and fight.
Okay, you get your grip on your axe, you get ready to go back into the fray. Arnold, you are told to whatever you have it. What are you doing?
Oh, thank you. And I'm gonna just take your hand and just kind of like try to release it from me so you're not holding me anymore.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Then I'll walk over to the edge and I will cast Cone of Cold at these 4 things.
Phenomenal.
Brenna ducks. Although she is very small, so she's over her head.
That is a con save.
Yeah, DC is 22.
Oh, that's a high DC, and con is not their best.
Yeah.
It's not bad, though.
He holds out this magic grimoire as he does it.
Boy, Ernold is like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I've transmuted your dice, Joe!
So for con, that is going to be a 9, a 13,
Hard counter
Fail.
to
a
monks.
23, so 1 success, and then a 10. So 1 success out of all 4 of these very high level monks who are, even with they get +7 for their con saves. Like,
Wow.
not bad.
This is like soggy
Damn.
paper
This is
beating
wild.
That's
rocks.
better than
Fortunately-
almost all my
In
saves.
the rock paper scissors meta, this is like.
I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
roll very well for damage, so it's 27 on the fails and 13 on the success.
Okay, so 13 on the success,
Of course,
27
old
on
man
the
beats
fails.
nubile monks.
And let's
2 years later, we see him like kicking ass in the gladiator.
And their movement is decreased, correct?
I don't think
Oh, maybe
so,
that's
actually.
not cold. Maybe that's
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Maybe Akka's
No
in the
worries. So
crowd.
you cast this cone of cold, you step over to the edge, you kind of peer over, you take a step back so you don't fall, and then you just cast cone of cold. There is this burst of cold as the sand kind of freezes and pelters down around you. The Xin Yi who are up there, or the Ninth Path monks who are up there, just completely overwhelmed by this cold. And as it clears away, you can see little elements of ice clinging to several of them. Anything else, Ernold?
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk then just kind of like to
Does
the
this-
opposite
does
end
my
of
guy
the
get hit by
platform.
the cone
No
of
problem.
cold?
You back.
No,
moonwalk
I would
right
have
away?
angled it so that it's like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's perfect positioning on the edge there.
Nice.
That is your turn, Ernold. That brings us up to the top of the round. You're still maintaining concentration on Control Wind?
Yes,
Excellent.
I only got hit once, and luckily I made the save.
Excellent.
So we.
At the top of the round, you avoid all taking 13 points of piercing damage as the wind kind of howls by, little elements of these bristling obsidian needles kind of going across and just being controlled away from you by Ernold. That brings us to Eleanor, and then the ninth monk Max. The ninth path monks.
I continue to be crumpled on the floor.
There you go. You are stunned.
No, stuff. At the end.
Yeah, I have a guardian now.
That brings us to the ninth monk Max. But
Fetal
at the end of his
position.
turn, you will unstun. So these monks, having been blasted by her,
Oh no!
I was just
You know,
shades of
it's
are
that.
going to
Yeah.
fly down, with one stopping for Brenna, but the other three.
Well,
Oh no.
it was nice knowing you guys.
You are also dangerously close. Oh no,
Ah!
Ernold, you can't die here, then you will cause a time paradox.
Yes.
Well,
I got
We know already that they've apparently just got resurrection stones lying around, so someone finds him smooshed on the ground and is like, I can fix this.
could you just kind of toss that air cooker over there?
Toss him. Just toss him.
It's going to fly back here. And I'm going to bonus action dash to get there.
Yeah, fuck you, man. You got a bonus action dash to get back. I just said.
Well, it's bonus action quick and step, technically, for a monk. So they are going to fly forward, just rushing across. You can see they pull the spear out from behind their back, and in a single kind of piercing thrust, they're coming after you, Eleanor. Miss
ready to
Aarakocra will take...
defensive. Didn't you defend?
Oh, no, Shae's going to be there.
Shae's
It'll be against
Shae's
Shae.
in the
Yeah.
way, yeah.
So, Shae, they're going to take 3 attacks against you.
All at disadvantage because patient defense.
All at disadvantage. The first one is going to be a 23 to hit.
That's a miss.
Second one is going to be a 13 to hit.
That's a miss.
And then the third one, this is the best. I rolled a natural 20 and a 19. So that is going to be a 29 to hit.
That'll hit.
You are able to, as they fly forwards, you grab the staff, they swirl it around, they take the back end and try to hit you in the face, but you were able to block that. And it is only with this beak on the end of their mouth that they just peck straight into your head that they are finally able to land a blow. That is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning damage plus 4 points of necrotic damage. But having to use their bonus action to dash, that is all that they can do. That brings us down to the Bad Times Island over here. Brenna,
Yep.
the first one is going to take 3 attacks against you.
All right.
They unleash this huge cluster of blows. The first one is going to be only a 14 to hit,
Nope.
22 to hit,
Yep.
and then a natural 20.
That one does hit. But after the 22, I'm going to roll my wild magic with
Okay,
my
go
Change
for
the
it.
Tides.
So let me roll the first damage.
Oh, didn't get the teleporting one.
First damage is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning damage plus 3 of necrotic.
So, and he is going to take 1d6 force damage.
Hell yeah.
5.
There you go. 5 points of force damage. And then the critical hit is going to be the exact same amount. That is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning damage and 3 points of necrotic damage. So literally the exact same amount. Sorry, 6 points of necrotic damage. Double the dice. That is both, or all the attacks against you. They didn't have to use a bonus action, so they are going to uncork a flurry of blows.
But I don't want them to.
That's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, especially because that is going to be a 23 to hit and a 25 to hit.
Yep, so each time I get hit, they do take the 1d6. So, sorry, I didn't realize that until I'm rereading
No
it.
worries.
So, for the last one, it's 4 points of damage.
Okay.
And then for each of these.
So the first one is going to be 9 points of bludgeoning damage plus 2 points of necrotic.
And so he's going to take 6 points of force damage on that. This is
Okay.
actually pretty good.
And then you're taking 8 points of bludgeoning damage plus 3 points of necrotic in the second.
Alright, and then he's going to take 3 points of force damage.
Very nice. So he's kind of getting hit a couple of times. Every time that he hits you, he flinches a bit. But Ernold, none of that matters to you because suddenly,
Oh boy.
in front of you, to the side of you, behind you, these monks suddenly just appear.
Mother.
And you're going to be taking a bare minimum of 9 attacks. But we'll start with, we'll do them one at a time here. So first, the first monk who is standing closest, or who is behind you. Oh, and these are all at advantage, aren't they?
Two of them would be.
Who's not at advantage?
One of them would not.
Oh, right, because, one wouldn't have somebody on the other side.
Yeah.
So for the first one, I'll just reroll all of them. For the first one, that is going to be a 28 to hit.
The DC is. Do I have +1 armor?
Not anymore, sorry.
The DC is 20.
Okay.
As I
So one
cast
hit.
shield.
The next one will be a 20 to hit, so that'll hit. The final one will be a 22 to hit. So from the one that's behind you, not rolling at advantage, you are taking 3 hits.
Ooh.
First one is going to be only 11 points of bludgeoning damage plus 2 of necrotic. The second is going to be 7 points of bludgeoning damage plus 3 of necrotic. And the third is going to be 9 points of bludgeoning damage and 2 of necrotic. Now the other two who are rolling at advantage.
I'm still concentrating.
First one is going to be a 28 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Second one is going to be a 22 to hit.
Actually, can you do the damage? It kind of matters.
Yes. And the last one, well, okay. First damage will be 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
That's a lot.
Plus 2 points of, what are they called now? Necrotic, thank you. Second one is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning damage plus 4 of necrotic. And then the last attack.
Yeah, the last attack.
Is a natural 20.
Oh my god.
The natural 20. Luckily, a natural 20 for a monk is not the worst thing in the whole wide world. That is going to be 15 points of bludgeoning damage and 8 points of necrotic. As they unleash these 3 strikes against you, and then the monk to their right.
Alright. My contingency goes off, and I am now greater invisible. So I just disappear.
Very nice.
Incredible.
In this moment, you disappear. The other person cracks their knuckles. They look around. You vanished. So they just dip over to Brenna. And Brenna, you're
Hello.
going to take 3 attacks.
Okay.
These, you know what? They're actually going to run up the walls. And as they are running, they're going to drive by punch you, putting them at opposite ends with this guy to give them advantage.
Fine.
They are going to first take an attack that's 27 to hit.
Yep.
Second attack, or you want me to roll damage first?
Shield.
It doesn't matter. Just
Okay.
keep track of how many attacks so I can roll the
8
d6.
points of bludgeoning and 3 of necrotic.
That's the first one?
Yep.
8 and 3, okay.
Second attack is going to be a 27 to hit.
Yep.
That is going to be 8 points of bludgeoning, 1 of necrotic. And then the third attack is going to be a 23 to hit.
Yep.
That is going to be 9 points of bludgeoning and 1 of necrotic.
Okay.
And
So that's 3d6 of force damage then.
and they're going to use Flurry of Blows.
Okay. Can
So-
I give you the
Oh,
force
yeah,
damage first?
Go
This
for it.
one.
All right,
Over
so
here
that's
now?
6
Yeah.
hit points of force damage.
Okay.
And then, with the flurry of blows, it'll be the same, just
Gently.
1d6
6.
per hit.
Okay.
Like nestle them in there.
Let me just add that to
Brenna is not looking good. I mean, she's still pretty good, but for her.
You guys are, again, spreading damage very effectively. Okay.
I've only had one
Flurry of
chance.
blows. 20 to hit.
Haven't really had
Yeah.
much
20 hits.
opportunity to attack.
That is going to be minimum damage. We're talking about 6 points of damage at 1 point of necrotic. And then a 21 to hit, which I think hits.
Yep.
And that is going to be only 7 points of bludgeoning and 1 of necrotic.
Okay, so that's 2 more d6 of force damage.
That is all of the monks in
5
this
points
round.
of force damage to that guy.
5 points of force damage. He's starting to look kind of rough, though. As that force damage sinks in, at least 2 of these guys are looking pretty rough.
I'm channeling Alina, and it's basically like Hex.
Yeah, kind of.
Like mini Hex.
But that is all of the Ninth Path monks. That brings us to Akka.
Okay. So, I believe I can move my Echo Knight manifestation 30 feet down to about here.
Okay.
At which point, I am then going to use my bonus action to teleport positions with it for
You use this
15 feet of my movement. So my Echo Knight is still going to be here. Well, no, it doesn't matter because I'm about to then move down to this spot here. Because I think then I would be getting advantage against the one that just attacked Brenna. Or I guess I can move.
If you need to be
I
standing...
have 20 feet of movement, so I'm going to move, I guess,
So you would need to be here to get advantage?
Yeah.
here or here, right?
Here is just stone.
But yeah,
I think you
so I
have
guess
to be
I
there.
would move here then. So here to get advantage on this guy.
I think she would need to be standing on Brenna's shoulders for you to get advantage from above. Like,
What?
technically, like, so like to get, if you wanted to do what you wanted against the person over there, they would have needed to be like standing on Brenna's
Gotcha,
shoulders, basically,
yeah.
which, not out of the question for monks.
Fair enough.
But
And then from there, I'm going to wail on this guy.
okay.
at
So for a moment, it
advantage.
is like reality breaks as all of you see like a dozen Akkas just operate into different parts of this battlefield, kind of all fizzling out, reappearing in other places. It's unclear which one is which. It's like a cup game of Akkas that is taking place in the sandstorm. And then all of a sudden, right behind you, Brenna, this Akka becomes real and swirls into action against this person. Go ahead and make your attack rolls.
So the first attack, that's going to be a natural 20.
That is a hit. I realize you guys haven't really made a lot of attacks. It's been saving throws and it's
Yeah.
been reactions.
Yeah. So for this first attack, I'm also
Once we
going
start
to
hitting, we'll be all right.
Because it's been like a round and a half of just getting situated.
when I
Making sure we don't fall
make,
to our death.
I guess I'll use it for after the second attack.
Now we're
But
on
whenever I
line.
take the attack action, I can use one additional melee attack from the Echo's position. So then I would use the Echo to make an attack against the Arakocra there.
Okay.
But I'll make the first attack being this one because it's the natural 20. And I get a second attack because I have two
Yeah, so
actions.
roll damage on that one.
Okay, so first one is going to be. Let's see. 8 plus 8 plus. Alright, so this is going to be. Die times 2 for a natural 20. 27 magical piercing.
Very nice.
And then
That person in particular, especially after all that reaction damage, starting to look pretty rough.
the second attack against them. That's gonna be another natural 20.
Hey, there you go. Roll damage again.
Pretty good.
That's gonna be 11, 29 magical slashing damage.
That is the amount of health that they had left.
Nice.
As you are able to take that second attack and sink it in, you just kind of apparate. There's like 3 or 4 Akkas that are around this person, and they look around bewildered. They block 2 different blows, but neither of them are real, and then you just attack them from behind, skewering straight through. Anything else, Akka?
Then I'm making my attack with the Echo Knight on the Arakocra.
Okay.
Do I have advantage on it? I don't think I do, right?
No.
Okay, so this is just a flat. That's still gonna be pretty good. That is a 28 to hit.
28 is a hit.
Nice. And that's gonna be 14 points of magical slashing.
Very
damage.
nice. Anything else, Akka?
That is it for me.
All right. That brings us to Shae.
So my lovely friend here is about to take 5 hits, 3 of which from the staff.
Look at
Now we're on line.
that 4. Hey, that's a lot. That's a 19 plus 14.
Yeah, that's a hit.
Pummeled. We were flying effectively.
Hey Joe. So I was concentrating on control wind, continuously went off, great invisibility on myself, which is also a concentration spell.
Yes.
So how is that gonna work?
I believe you can only concentrate on one at a time, so I
Yeah.
believe you
You
drop
choose
control.
one.
So I have dropped controlled wind. It's now windy.
Let's pick up again. Good
We're
thing I still
howling.
have bark skin or stone skin.
Everything is fine, guys.
And damage for that was 15 plus 8, so 23.
Nice.
Very nice. Instantly, they are starting to look a little bit rough. They were pretty much the best shape out of everybody, and all of a sudden now looking a little hurt.
The second attack is a 8 plus a 14. I can't math right now. That's 22.
22 is a hit.
8
I forgot.
5 is 13. Plus 8 is 21 points.
1 points. Very nice.
Third if it's still needed.
It is. They're still up.
It's 29.
29 is a hit.
21 points of damage.
With 21 points of damage, you hit them once, you hit them twice. The feathers just go everywhere. You can see this Aarakocra. You've known Rushu for a while. This is an individual who is not a master of a spear art form, but pretty good. And you knock them unconscious in this moment. You just bring the staff around and thunk them down on the head.
And then I have 80 feet of... No, I have 160 feet of movement. Yeah. I would like to go over and flurry of blows one of my other compatriots.
Yeah?
Former compatriots.
Which one?
Whichever one I can get in contact with.
Probably the closest one is the one that Akka is currently flanking as well.
Word,
So,
he's-
absolutely.
It would be
what?
Ernold.
Oh, no, sorry, you killed that guy.
Yeah, I killed
It'd
that
be the
guy.
one that is flanking
Oh,
Ernold.
yeah.
Ernold.
So,
Yeah.
flanking.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Very nice. Roll damage on
Ooh.
that.
And
And
that
this-
is a D10, because it's a fist now.
Is this guy floating? Because he's like
Yeah, they're fine.
That's
just,
14. No, yes, 14 points of damage.
14. Okay.
No, I lied.
That'll work.
18 plus 5.
18 plus 5, 23 points. of
23.
damage. Very nice. Anything else?
No, for the second hit, because that was a critical and I didn't double it.
nice.
I can't math. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That is a meets it, beats it.
For 10.
damage.
Oh, and you know what? He can make a Constitution saving throw on that one.
Okay.
Why not?
That is going to be a 24.
Yeah, that'll make it.
So you unload attacks, first knocking out the Aarakocra, who is rushing over at Eleanor and Akka, and then flying across this space in an instant, just parting the sand, and then waylaying this guy. And he's looking hurt. But he is still up. That is your turn, Shae.
That's it.
That brings us to Brenna.
Okay. Brenna's like, now we fight. She's got, so the guy in front of her is prone.
Not prone.
I think it.
Like the model just fell over.
No,
Fell over.
he's
Yeah.
he was wall riding.
He's flying up
Oh,
there
right.
on top.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna smack him. No, not smack him. I'm gonna carve into him with my axe.
No, never mind. We're good.
What? Ooh. All right.
I read the wrong thing.
Alright, so we've got 2 attacks. The first one is gonna be a 29 to hit,
That is a hit, absolutely.
and that's gonna be for 14 points of damage, and then second attack, 16 to hit.
That is a miss.
I think that's all.
All right.
Like,
You attack this person, now kind of closing in. They are surrounded, and as their companions fall, you can see the tides of this battle shifting. But that is your turn, Brenna. That brings us to Ernold.
Let's see. So I am invisible. So I think I'm just going to.
Stay invisible and hide.
Yeah. Looks like It took the party a little bit to get attacking, but they seem to be doing all right now. I'll just cast a firebolt.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'll cast it at this one because it's the one that's not next to me.
Yeah, go for it.
And I have advantage because I'm invisible.
You do.
Does a 31 hit?
Yeah, 31 hits. That's wild.
Does greater?
And it just does 22, not for greater invisible, 22 fire damage.
Very nice. They're looking rough.
And that is... I don't want to be here anymore, so I'm just gonna walk over here and
I don't want to be here anymore.
Misty step over here.
Very
when you
nice.
were gonna Misty step.
You just
Are you
walk
able
over
to
there.
Misty
Just
step
Huh?
after you spell cast?
It's a cantrip.
It's a cantrip, yeah.
Yeah.
So only one leveled spell per round.
And technically, I think rules is written you have to cast a cantrip first, and then you have to cast a spell. There's like a weird thing
Oh,
to
really?
it.
Oh, I
Technically,
didn't know that.
It's not something that we've ever really functionally thought about here. But yeah,
Oh.
you can cast a cantrip and a level
Damn.
spell.
Yeah.
Anyways, that
No
is
one
your
sees
turn,
him. He
Ernold.
just does it while he's invisible.
Yeah. You guys are still defending this old man. That is your turn. That brings us to the top of the round.
Are we buffeted?
The wind howls here, and though you can feel the sand pelting across your face, there is no cloud of these obsidian dagger-like shards that howl through here on this turn, at least. And that brings us to Eleanor.
All right, so she'll stand up and kind of dust herself off after catching her breath after not only just being stunned, then witnessing the most epic monk fight just right in front of her face.
Like literally just surrounded by.
Yeah, it was really intense.
Now you're just standing next to old invisible
can't
man
see
and
him, so-
ghost Akka.
I have no idea that Ernest is next. And no, I do, because you're within 10 feet of me,
Yeah,
so I
you
know
do.
you're there.
What? Really?
You're just surrounded. You're surrounded by ghosts.
I'm surrounded by ghosts currently, but I'm also out of range.
Yeah, you look at me, I'm like, I look back like, she can see me?
So I'm out of range for the rapier, but I can I see this guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say they have cover, but yeah, you can see them.
All right. So, I will then look over. Let's see. If I remember correctly, the daggers I have three of them, but they're just +1s. They're not like
Correct.
yeah, they're not like a returning dagger. They
Correct.
just are regular daggers.
Yep.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is look over and just be like, all right, we'll give it a shot. I'm gonna steady aim against this guy and just
Fantastic.
huck a dagger at him.
Absolutely. Make an attack roll.
So, where'd I put my other? No. Okay. Does a 23 hit?
Yes, it does.
All right. Excellent.
Across the howling winds, just barely, by the way, with the cover, you are able to, you have to kind of throw it almost like 30 degrees off center because it boomerangs around with the force of the wind, especially because Ernold has released this control. It's a really hard shot. But absolutely, yeah, that hits.
All right. Excellent. And then... That would be 40 points of magical piercing damage.
Very nice.
Nice.
That was the least hurt person so far, but no longer. Everybody left on the battlefield, for what it's worth, within 3 hit points of each other. You guys have really spread the damage. Anything else, Eleanor?
At that point, she'll just kind of be like, she'll just nod to Ernold and be like, sir?
Earlier, like, I thought it was greater invisibility. No problem.
I need to learn best invisibility now.
Greatest. So that is your turn, Eleanor. You throw a dagger like 80 feet, curving it in the wind. And that brings us to the 9th Path monks. With the... Oh, man, Shae is wailing on them there.
They're technically.
So they're going to close in over here on Shae. This person is going to provoke an attack of opportunity from Brenna to get over here so that they can get
I
two
already
people
used
with
my
advantage.
reaction on switching the.
So I'm
Actually, did I?
technically like down at this level.
Yeah.
too.
No, I didn't do it that turn.
There you go. You can make an attack of opportunity if you wish.
Hell yeah, I do wish. Natural 20.
Nice.
Very nice.
And I have brutal criticals, so I get to do 3 additional
Yeah.
damage.
Go ahead.
Nice.
Alright, so.
That's
Wait, just 3 additional damage?
rolls.
No,
Rolls.
Dice.
Okay, alright.
And so, but those dice don't get doubled, right?
Yes, they do. All dice get doubled on a critical.
That's delicious.
That's why having like an extra dice versus an extra plus something is really
It's
helpful.
usually
Just as
good
a
for
tip,
the crits.
After throwing one dagger, she'll draw a second dagger.
Okay.
So she has a dagger.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
It's important for someone tries to hit me. It's in my hand.
Oh, unarmed strike?
46 points of slashing damage.
As this person rushes over,
That's
you
a
can see
good
they kick
reaction.
off, and they were really like standing on the stone wall, almost like Crouching Tiger in Hidden Dragon, like leaning forwards and fighting with you guys. They kick off the wall to jump over, and you swing the axe around and just cut them straight in half. Right at the waist, they just fall into. There is blood everywhere. They are dead.
Yeah, and
Fuck
she
outta
goes,
here.
"Oh, I should have said before, sup, nerd."
Oh, yeah, there it is. So the other two
Like, I
however,
forgot I had a catchphrase.
are going to take attacks against Shae. Shae, the first one, and that actually loses their advantage too. So that was very helpful. 3 attacks against you. The highest one is going to be a 23 to hit.
That will miss.
All right. Then the other person, 3 attacks against you. Maybe Ernold rubbing off a little bit against you. 22 is the highest roll.
Need a 24, Joe.
And so they unleash attack after attack after attack. They do not land anything. They cannot use their other abilities. Actually, as a bonus action, each of them will take the dodge action. That is their turn. That is all of my monks. That brings us to Akka.
Cool.
So we got this guy and this guy.
Yeah.
Both are looking equally hurt.
So this guy's already in my range, right? Alright. Bonus action. I'm going to manifest this echo behind him.
Okay.
So I'm just going to put him there. Just for the purposes of advantage, to give myself advantage to fuck him up. So, first attack is going to be, I believe it's a 29?
29 is a hit.
Alright, so that's going to be minimum damage for 9 points. And then I'm going to second attack.
Okay.
That's terrible dice rolls. It was a with my elven accuracy 1, 3, and 4 on the dice for a total of 17.
That is a miss.
Damn.
Unfortunate. You hit them once, and they are able to turn around, parry your second blow.
And I don't think I can make. Oh, actually, no, I still can because it doesn't cost. Yeah. So I'm gonna make one more attack from my Echo's position.
Yep.
Because I forgot that doesn't cost. It's just a limited use thing. That's gonna be a 25.
That
to
is a hit.
And that'll be another 11 points of slashing damage.
Akka, as Brenna just cuts this monk in half and there is this spray of blood across the battlefield, you are able to turn and take a second attack, just skewering this monk. The kind of Echo Knight attacks from the other side, and you just almost bisect this creature. They are dead. There is only one monk left on the battlefield.
And then I'm going to, as a free action, command my Echo Knight to just scooch over a little bit.
All right. That is your turn, Akka.
That's it.
That brings us to Shae.
There's only one friend left.
And you have
Finish him.
advantage.
There you go. Make your
It's
attack.
like, he's not a friend! friend?
Former friend.
Former friend.
Ah, yes.
Shae's just going through killing all of her
24?
former friends.
24 is a hit.
Shae's story is really tragic.
This is the other half of her monk order that defected in part of a schism.
18 points
Damn.
of damage.
It's all part of
So
Tina's,
she's
like,
killing
40
like
pages.
half
They
her
are
family.
still up, but barely. As you hit them there, you can see the staff crackles with this arcane energy. They are almost brought to their knees, but they are still up.
Natural 20.
Oh.
Shae, tell us how it happened.
Hey!
I'll level the staff at them for a second,
Okay.
and then take the head off.
Very nice. And it just off and into the wind and just carried by the sandstorm and the gale. And you're all out of initiative in this game.
Can you grab my dagger, please?
float down.
I think it's in its body.
Brenna's gonna look and be like, oh, this one?
Yep, that's the one.
She'll tuck it away until she has an opportunity to
Easy
do that.
enough. You grab that out. The wind howls here. And in this moment, especially for you, Eleanor, and you, Ernold, from where you are standing, if you turn and you look north, you can see that off and in the distance, there is a place where these floating stones kind of rise up higher and higher. And here, the basalt kind of truly rises up in these column-like forms that form little walls and little sort of crevices. But you can see a very large shape that is marooned against the outcroppings of floating stone. Clad in steel, but unlike anything that you've ever seen, closer to something that you've seen, Eleanor. The Winds of Change is a flying ship, and this is as well. But this is clad entirely in steel, similar to Dwarven in make, but much more draconic looking. And you actually see, do you speak Draconic?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Aka
I
does.
used to.
Do you speak Draconic?
You did used to.
I can be understood and understand all spoken language, if that
Accents.
counts.
I feel like that should count.
Excellent. You're not you are neither Eleanor nor okay.
Oh.
So you see some draconic writing on this sort of vessel on the front where there might be like an anchor perhaps. The entire
Ooh.
bow is tilted low, which means the deck is exposed to your view. Yeah.
If I see the Draconic, I can cast Comprehend Languages, and I will do so I can read it. If I see
So
letters I don't
You
recognize.
cast Comprehend Languages.
Magic.
And in that moment you are pretty aware of the fact that you're still invisible actually, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Comprehend Languages. You are looking at an very ornate F in Draconic. And I would say make a history check and make it at advantage.
Ooh.
Fazarak.
F in the chat, boys.
Ooh, this is gonna be maybe good. History.
Nice.
Huh, I'm such a scholar. 30.
This is the icon of the Fazarakian Skald, a group of dragon-led sort of empire, really, that spanned most of the globe for the Second Age. They disappeared almost overnight. The sort of gathered might of several factions, first turning the tide against the dragons, and then almost overnight they seem to disappear. This is one of their ships, and for it to be here is bizarre. It means that they have traveled beyond the material plane using this technology. Almost certainly it flies because you can see still marooned against elements of this kind of basalt. It isn't like sinking down. It looks like it's just kind of collided. You also notice, there's movement. And so almost certainly there is activity around this craft.
Okay. I relay that, but in an old man voice. Oh, how peculiar.
What?
A flying Fezarakian ship.
Aka, hearing Fazarakian, is gonna go try to figure out what the fuck's going on there.
Maybe we have a chance for a flying ship after all.
Because
Please don't steal that flying
they
ship.
would be
I feel like I wouldn't
aligned
like it.
similarly
I'm a
with
pirate.
Drea, presumably, right?
Presumably. Make a perception check.
I am a kind of reformed pirate.
The Fazarakian Skald ended, depending on who you ask, like 1,200 years ago.
Right.
So these would be some old dudes.
Thinking about at least.
26.
With the 26, as you narrow your eyes, this would have to be impossibly old dudes, and it's not. These are not dragonborn. These are almost entirely human, elf, Aarakocra, or otherwise, as these are members of the Ninth Path. And you see, gleaming in the distance, these eyes that shine like stars, and they are looking directly back at you across at least 1,000 feet, if not more. Through the sort of howling sands, they seem to regard you, and you see the lips of this person draw back in a wry smile before they turn and continue to work on the ship.
Was that Joruxa? Do I know without, like...
You
No,
feel that there is immense power in this individual.
Shae?
Shae would catch up.
I think your uncle is on the ship.
You mean my grandfather?
Grandfather? Yeah, whatever. I just felt it there very strong. They know.
If we're up for a fight, I have been punched many times. Do we have can you do that thing where we can just rest in like 10 minutes? Do we have 10 minutes?
How far away is it?
10 minutes is better than an hour.
At least 1,000 feet.
It's gonna take them less than 10 minutes to get here if they wanted to, but they're not changing direction.
If they wanted
right?
to, you've seen how fast Shae can move. They probably could have joined this fight.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he saw and
Make an
smiled
insight
and
check.
like looked, and they're kind of like, it's too late for you guys now anyway, kind of situation.
Yeah.
They're
Playing
like
with their
still
food,
going
they might
about
as well
their,
let us rest.
Well, if they take the fight to us, they'll be off their home turf.
15
Fair enough.
insight.
Hard to tell.
If we need to rest, we should go quickly.
It doesn't hurt to just try to rest. I mean, if they catch up here, we're no worse off than they were before. We were.
So
Right.
Akka tells you to rest faster, and you're like, all right.
Well, I take out my my brush and I paint on the necessary magical sigils for catnap.
Okay.
Yeah, it's per half level.
What?
One dice per half of your level. I mean, like it's
With
in
catnap?
total. For
What are you talking about?
What are you
No,
Recovery
catnap
rolls.
just gives.
Oh, recovery rolls.
No, it's you have one hit die for each level that you have,
Yeah.
each level.
and so like you're 18, level 18, you have
Okay.
18.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was
And
per
then you-
2 or per.
No, it's per
Oh,
one.
no,
No,
for one.
For one. Okay, I just said it in a really weird way because
You
I'm
did.
trying to like wrap around
also
how to
said
actually say that
Recovery
correctly.
roll, which was a confusing way to put that.
Yeah.
So we're taking
listen.
That's
10 minutes for a short rest.
Cipher.
Yeah,
Cipher brain.
I normally heal people. I normally don't
Yeah.
use these.
So you begin to take a 10-minute short rest. And because it is 3 o'clock, great place to take a break. We're going to step away for a quick moment. And then we'll come back for the end of Greater Than Greed. Thank you for sticking with us so far. We will be back in just a little bit. All right.
Do we know yet?
sticking with us through the break if you did. If not, we're playing D&D, and you're a part of it now. We'll be joined by Tina in just a little bit.
It's so threatening when you say it like
I know, I like saying it like that now. So you can see now from where we left off, after fighting against these monks who had ambushed you along the way, there is, in the distance, this huge area of rising basalt columns and areas where it becomes a little bit more vertical. And along the space, there is a marooned dragonborn ship. Give me a second, turn the music back up. Okay. You've completed a 10-minute short rest at the thanks of Akka's catnap spell. Each of you can roll hit dice. You can mark off the benefits of that. Yes, Brenna.
Sorry. Do we think, based on like how far away we are, do we think that we'll be engaging within the next 10 minutes? I want to know whether to bolster people now or later.
I'm not the boss of you.
If we were to leave right now,
Okay.
just based on the distance. That's what I'm asking.
You could, yeah.
Okay.
We're like 1,000 feet away.
Okay.
Or unless they've probably sailed off a little bit more, but
They haven't.
They're maroon.
So Brenna to the group is just going to be like, okay, when we're ready, if anyone needs like some bolstering, like spell slots back, more spell casting, or even just like a little boost to your attack rolls, just like when we're about to go, just let me know. Because I think once we're there, I might not be able to help anymore.
how do you want to do this?
Just go in. We have to stop him.
Do you wish to exchange any words, or just kind of go in?
If he
Full
graces
force.
us with that. Okay. I don't know that he will.
Should we let him?
Any chance of a surprise? I can
He knows we're here.
swarm, like just get in on him, or
He is the focus. He's driving it.
If he falls, do you think they'd scatter or fight to the end?
Sure, some of both.
All right.
It took many of them, so.
all right.
Arnold,
We did just
would you like this potion? It seems like you may need it more than I will.
Oh, thank you.
It's a
What? I look
superior
over it.
healing potion.
It's a potion of giant strength.
So I'll pass my superior healing potion to Arnold, because it seems like a contingency spell seemed to have gone off.
I don't know why they keep hitting me. I'm just an old man.
So immediately before we head out, Brenna's going to be like, okay, does anyone need more ability to cast spells? I can give you like one more spell back.
I mean, it never hurts.
Okay.
But
Well, you can have that, or you can let's just hand out. You can either have a D3 adding to attack rolls or ability checks for 10 minutes, or you can have a spell slot back that's level 3 or lower.
probably the other one is probably better
Yeah?
because that's longer, more generally useful.
Yeah? Everyone D3?
Got no spells, so it
I have
Yeah,
most of
same.
my
I got
spell
those.
slots, so mechanically I'm
Oh,
okay.
I don't need any of my spells back.
So it's attack and saving throws?
So you get a D3 to attack rolls and saving throws
And that's for the entirety of the 10 minutes.
for the entirety of the 10
Can
minutes.
that be dispelled, do you know?
It
Who's
is...
getting
I don't know, actually.
don't
Hold on. You can harness your wild magic to bolster yourself or a companion. You can touch one creature, which can be yourself, and confer one of the following benefits of your choice. And then it describes them, and then it says how many times you can use it. So, I don't know.
It sounds like it might be a spell-like ability then, which...
That's my guess, but I'll let Joe chime in.
because it's not like a true spell.
Yeah.
Say one more time, sorry.
This bolstering magic feature, is it a spell-like ability? We just
It's
want to know
spell-like
whether...
ability,
Yeah, okay.
Okay, can be
So-
dispelled.
It'll probably be fine. Alright.
Oh.
Well, I'm as ready as I'll ever be, and also I will probably try to take the ship. If nothing else, to turn it around into his face. But we'll see. Or an escape route.
Oh, okay.
Depending on its,
Did it recently get moored while we were watching it?
No, I mean, it hasn't moved since I've seen it.
Okay. misunderstanding that.
So yeah, you can see much like on our combat cam, although you can't see it super well on our combat cam.
We'll see when you get pictures.
I think maybe.
You might be able to scoot the map a little bit.
Oh, I should have turned it around.
That's okay.
You know what? Let's do this real quick. Let's flip it around.
Yeah,
I
so all the
think-
fun parts
yeah,
can probably happen over there.
Okay, pardon my reach, everybody. Here.
How dare you do DM stuff?
Okay. I don't know if this is DM stuff. This is like production.
Yeah.
That for a second. Let's turn it. Excellent.
Now I'm just thinking of that clip from the Oscars.
Me
with Ben
too.
Stiller. Yeah.
Oh, where it gets stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That was clever.
People are like, "Wow, Ben Stiller really rolled with the punches." Like, no, it was all planned. But
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so there's
that's better.
Shae,
Yeah.
can your grandfather cast spells?
I never saw him do any, but
So, did you get
he
the
has his own
+3?
abilities.
You give-
Everybody gets. It's
Oh,
not a
everybody
+3.
gets
It's a D3
He
Oh.
has a
plus
Yes.
story.
1d3, but it's
to
a-
any.
She had 6 casts.
Understood.
Yeah, I had. We
Okay.
talked earlier that I can do it on multiple people at a time. so,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
So, Fatechangers.
Yes.
Where are you trying to reach?
Where are we? We are off yonder.
We're
Off yonder.
yeah. So
Oh, I see. There's the
you
little
are
pile.
1,000 feet away from where the kind of edge of this battle map is. So, as you approach, you imagine there will probably be consequences.
All right. So,
I'll follow your lead.
yeah.
Shae's going.
Okay.
All right.
Are you going full
yeah.
speed?
No, I would
Okay.
like if they look like they're coming with me, I would go a reasonable speed for
Okay.
everyone to keep pace.
So you have to like sometimes leap up to like 100 feet and then land and then wait and then kind of leap and then it's a little slower for you, but all of you as a group make your way forwards. Same people carrying Eleanor, same people carrying Ernold.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. The two of you kind of ferried across this space.
As we get within, let's say, like 200 feet, I'll just cast mirror image on myself. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do I need to recast it?
So if you want, what I would say is you can take wherever the flight sand is that we were using before, the big one, and you can put it right in front so that it kind of hangs over the, no, further back.
Here?
In between, yeah, right there. Perfect. Because as you get over that island, that is where the rest of the monks are going to kind of fly out and go to meet you, with the exception of Joruxa, who will hang back.
Is this Joruxa?
So are we
Yeah.
over
Do
here
you
or
have
in
your
front of it?
mirror yet? Or-
Like
Yeah,
if we
I
fall,
have
will we
Like
land on
when
there?
you
my
get
guy.
over there, that's when they're going to try to engage you.
I see. So they waited for us to.
I
Yes.
have
Oh,
him
very much.
actually 30 feet going down along this way.
So as you kind of cross that huge, wide open area of this like fall to nothing, that's where they choose to engage you. And we can have everybody roll for initiative. Delightful. No sneaking, no stealth.
Oh, finally a good roll.
Well, I have quasi stealth with my Echo Knight.
I mean, I could have stealth, but it's hard to stealth when you're being physically carried
Yeah.
by
That's
another human.
That's fair too.
Ooh, lucky a little bit. Okay.
Terrible.
Yeah, I didn't roll great.
Anybody with a natural 20?
No.
Would have been nice.
25 to 20.
21.
Dirty 20.
21 for Shae. Dirty 20 for Brenna. 20 to 15.
16.
19 for Eleanor. 16 for Akka. Arnold, what about you?
Oh, 14.
14 for Arnold.
And then all the other people and Joruxa at the very bottom.
No, however, Joruxa will be starting us off.
Damn.
And we'll see at range a little bit different than kind of what I was anticipating, but we'll see. Then Shae, then Brenna, then Eleanor, then Akka, then Ernold, and then with a natural 1 for their initiative score, the monks are moving at initiative order 9.
Nice.
Yeah, so really, really fortunate there. We're going to start off with Joruxa. So,
Hey,
he's
Shae.
far away.
Love that Lucy.
Oh, Shae, is that you?
Oh no!
Out from behind Joruxa.
Oh my god.
We go way back.
Oh my
He's gonna just hop down and move to the back of the ship.
Old
What are we
college
doing back
chums.
there?
Is that where the steering wheel is, or is that the front?
No, so this is like, it doesn't look like this. It's clad entirely in steel on the top, kind of mirroring the hull on the bottom, at least on the front part. So it's almost like a submarine, more in terms of its build. They are kind of moving across the top of it towards the back. There's no wheel or anything like that you could see. But they're standing up there. They're going to hold their action.
Is there
And
a
that-
cannon on that ship?
And that brings us to Joruxa. I mean, sorry, that is a Joruxa. That brings us to Shae.
Azarakian stuff is scary. I would just be
Bonus action
cautious.
haste.
Okay.
Probably a cannon on that ship.
Probably. Where's the ruler?
30 feet.
That's absolutely within 40 feet.
Okay.
Buddy.
Like coming in with the staff like on top of him.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Roll your attacks.
That's a 27.
That hits.
Oh, crappy rolls though. 9 plus 8 is 17 points of damage.
17. All right. Anything else?
Oh yes. 17 plus 14 to hit.
That is going to be a hit. My pen's leaking. That's where all this ink is coming from.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
do you need a fresh one?
No, I got it.
Yes.
13 plus 14.
There's already ink everywhere. It's chaos.
27 points of damage.
27 points
Nice.
of damage. Nice. Anything else?
Yeah. I still got a couple of more. That's 26 to hit.
That is a hit.
Oh, crappy rolls. 16 points of
Okay.
damage.
You're starting to look a little rough.
And then I will take no, that is all I can do.
Okay. That is your turn. You lay into this person with the Staff of Twisted Fates, this artifact, crackling energy across them, the thunder cracking in time behind you. They are still up, but you can see almost knocked off this perch. That is your turn. That brings us to Brenna.
All right. So she's holding Ernold. She's gonna be like, "I'm gonna set you down, old man."
Have to toss me.
Throw
I
me.
don't want to toss you. You are so old. So I did measure before, so we can just about get there. So we're gonna go down here.
I also measured.
What?
I also measured.
And Brenna's gonna say, "Hope you've got some cool stuff up your sleeve, old man." And then she is going.
Just so you know, each of the little cubes on that thing is 10 feet, so you can... 5 feet, so you can mark up using that for distance as well.
Yeah.
The thing
Oh,
is
I see.
cubed.
Yeah. The rulers are nice for diagonal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess I don't think I have much else to do. Sorry, bear with me just a second.
No
Been a
worries.
hot second since Anna has been. What
Is your current wild magic?
Oh, it's the throwing, but it's not. Oh, aha! Okay. She's going to throw her axe at this guy at disadvantage. Forgot that it was 26 feet. So she's going to chuck the axe at this guy.
Okay.
It's disadvantage because it's within 60 feet.
There you go.
Interesting. I think that's going to be a 14 to hit.
14 is a miss.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh man!" And then, bing, back in her hand. She's
Right
like, "We'll
back
get
in
him
her
next time,
hands.
Axe."
That is your turn?
Yep.
All right, that brings us to Eleanor.
All right, so I believe this is just right on the edge of 30 feet from me. I can't tell if that, I think it's like just
I think
slightly
it's
outside.
just
of range.
outside.
Yeah. Okay. So, I can't get the rapier over there. And just for a point of clarification, it's 30 feet per turn, I believe. You can move.
The rapier?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I could move it 30 feet and then next turn try to get it closer to someone else. Yeah.
Certainly could.
So I will send it That's bonus action to move it, I believe. Go as close as I can. I threaten this guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And then hopefully they stay roughly in that area, or else
Okay.
that'll just be really awkward. And then if that's a bonus action to send the rapier, which I believe it is. I don't have a full write-up.
I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will use my action to look at the monk that is currently in orange
Okay.
and
You can see they have other outfits ready, so you never know.
and just make eye contact with them and just be like, "You've chosen the wrong path, asshole." And I would like to panache.
Phenomenal. That is a
Path.
insight check.
Yes. Is my persuasion versus their insight. So
They get plus 10 to insight, too. For a total of 12.
Damn.
35.
So absolutely, they focus over on you, and whoever else they were going to focus on, you've likely taken their attention. Anything else?
So that is my bonus action, and my movement is currently unavailable to me.
All right.
So
That is your turn, Eleanor. That brings us to Akka.
It's like not unavailable. You could move if you wanted. It's just
I'm
in
not
a
going-
particular direction.
I'm not going to wiggle out of your arms.
So I don't know if this ever came up. If I'm carrying someone and I teleport with my echo form, do they then fall to their death?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Last I checked, a ghost can't hold someone.
Okay. So
Have you seen the Patrick Stewart primer? I mean, not Patrick Stewart. Jeez, Patrick Swayze.
Okay, first of all, that he didn't touch anyone.
Fair.
It was Whoopi.
quick question.
Yes.
Before I do this thing, because there's a very specific wording that I'm wondering about.
Sure.
For Vortex Warp, the place that I can place someone, the chosen space must be on a surface or in a liquid that can support the target without the target having to squeeze. In a liquid that can support the target, does this...
It's not liquid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not a liquid.
It's just sandstorm all the way
Cool.
down.
Okay, cool. Just had to make sure
Yeah,
that there
yeah,
was
yeah.
not liquid of this fiery type underneath at the bottom.
Anything else?
Yeah. Okay, so now, knowing that, I am going to fly down to here, free action dropping Eleanor off there. Meanwhile, my echo form is going to fly 30 feet over to here. Then I am going to bonus action swap places with my echo form over to here.
It just keeps going down. Out of the way.
Oh, because it's off of this thing.
And then move. Yeah. And that gives me another. I have like 10 feet left that I can move. So, I guess from there is fine. I'm gonna use my spell stored item Vortex Warp on him. That's a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw on Joruxa.
Yes.
Phenomenal. Okay. That is going to be a 28.
That's absolutely going to succeed.
Okay.
And that's gonna be it for me.
Fantastic. So, as a legendary action, they are just going to use Assassin's Dodge and instantly move 15 feet without provoking attacks of opportunity. Just to get a little closer to you now. You can see in their hand they hold a blade, black and silver, blood-colored etchings that shimmer like tear tracks down towards the hilt. It is wrapped in a faded gray cord. It looks as if there is ice coalescing around the blade, and they point that at you. And almost immediately, you feel a sense of sadness take a grip on your heart.
So no.
Joke's on you! I'm always sad.
You feel normal. That is just a legendary action as they move. That brings us to Ernold.
That's the only effect that it was for now.
It was just the movement without provoking attacks of opportunity.
Oh, so the sadness was just the
Flavor.
Just for fun.
mechanical.
I would love
Yet.
that if Akko was immune to that kind of damage. Because he has a lifetime of sadness.
Take 800 points of psychic damage, reduced to 0 because you
I'm
can't take
immune.
sadness.
Alright. I am going to... Let's see.
There is so much ink from the first time that I wrote out initiative because my pen was, it's still not dry.
Damn.
Do you need like paper towel?
No, it's okay.
Do you want to
It's
wash
just-
it off with some seltzer?
No.
Just like pour all over your notes, you know?
I just
want
appreciate
to-
I appreciate the quality of this paper that it's not bleeding through, it's just sitting on the surface.
You said that this area, this is just
It's all sand.
Sandstorm. All the way down.
sandstorm, just keep all the way down.
As far as you can tell.
Okay. I'm gonna ready an
Layers
action.
of it.
Okay.
So the first monk that starts to fly towards Brenner and I over the chasm,
Okay.
I'm just gonna polymorph them into a sheep.
Phenomenal. Okay. So many reasons I love that. Great. Ready
jumps
that
across the
so
chasm.
cool, so cool. That does bring us to the rest of the monks. Man, that's such a great idea. Okay, that's almost certainly going to get resolved.
Love that.
So this monk is going to scale up to where Eleanor is. They're clinging to the side of this, but they're able to fly, so they're technically flying right next to you. That's the shadow form.
Yeah.
They are going to stay with Shae. This person will leap up to join you guys up on this little area. I have 2 more monks. Can you just slide those guys across here?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Ah, lovely.
Friend's like, hey, come back.
Fight me.
And then they will bonus action dash. And they're going to bonus action dash to come over and join Akka.
Damn.
And Akka, they're...
We can just put mine up where they are, and if that makes
no,
more
because they're a
sense.
little higher than me, technically. They're not moving to flank you. They're just moving to be on one side of you, same side as Joruxa is, but they are both rising up into melee attack range.
Okay.
So starting all the way back, technically, the 2 that leap off and kind of float across the chasm, it would be the one that is in orange there that would trigger that if you want.
Yeah.
So polymorph. What kind of save is that?
It is a wisdom saving throw.
Whew, they're good at this.
Monks are wise.
Oh no.
They are wise.
18.
Failure!
As monk leaps off, they kick, they instantly like 30 feet across the chasm and then are struck by this arcane element of magic. The skin becomes sheep fur. You see the eyes become recessed into the sheep face, and you just hear, "Bah!" It just dips down and drops into the sandstorm below. You can pull that blonde one off. No. Right over there.
Oh, this
Yep. They never make it over to you. They dashed all the way over from there across. So.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that guy's
They just
still
drop off. You see that monk turns, and for a moment they stop and like reach out, but they're gone. So they just swirl back over. Now they are pissed off when they reach you. They had to use their bonus action to get here, so they only have 3 attacks against you.
My friend
Akka.
hates sheep.
Does a 9 does not hit? That's a natural 1. Does a 13 hit? No. Does a 24 hit?
24. Do I have a +1 right? Oh wait, do I have a +3 from that thing?
It's for attack rolls and ability checks.
Oh, then no, that is a Mitsa.
There you go. So they hit you with 1 hit. That is going to be
I think I'm
9 points of bludgeoning damage and 3 of necrotic.
So half for the bludgeoning because of my stone skin.
You also have to roll it.
This is
It's
technically
not-
considered magic,
Uh,
if that matters.
it's resistant to bludgeoning damage. So,
Is it resistant to magical bludgeoning damage?
I don't know because it's the spell.
Because monks past a certain level, their attacks count as magical
Magical.
weapons for
Yeah.
We got magic
Oh,
boosts.
to non-magical.
non-magical. So no,
okay.
you take the full amount.
Okay, so it was 9 total.
Yep. They unleash on you, but that is all that they can do for that turn. Now, over in our other stack here, Eleanor,
Yeah.
you are going to take attacks from 2 different monks.
Yep.
As the ones that are flying off completely ignore this Shadow Knight, who they're not quite sure what the deal is with this, but they know who you are.
That's fair.
They know that you are tangible.
That's also fair.
The first one on the bottom is going to take 3 attacks against you.
Yeah.
On the low end, a 12 to hit,
12 misses.
24.
That hits.
All right, so the second 2 hit. The first one, as they hit, is going to deal 12 points of bludgeoning damage and 1 point of necrotic.
Okay.
The second one is only going to deal 10 points of bludgeoning damage and 3 of necrotic. And then, as a bonus action, that monk is going to use Grisly Wound. And they pump elements of this energy that you can see wreaths around their hands like blackened energy to deal an additional.
I would like to uncanny dodge that one.
Okay. An additional 32 points of poison damage.
I'm uncanny dodging that one.
There you go. That is the monk that attacks you. Then the other one up top, after they see you get struck several times, is going to attempt to grapple you. Can you make an athletics check, please?
Sure can. I just want to look at something really quick. Bonus action. Okay.
It's a 24 for them.
I highly doubt that I'd make that, but we'll try anyway. Dance a 14.
With a 14, you are not successful. You are grappled by this individual, and they are going to use the rest of their movement.
Am I getting like suplexed?
If they are moving,
They do
out
move out of your opportunity. They will provoke a ranged opportunity attack.
Okay, cool.
I am being suplexed.
Everybody's all over.
I'm going to use my reaction on them.
Okay.
I'm just seeing exactly what I can do.
You're a warcaster. So it's any target, any spell that can target a
Just,
individual.
but it has to be just on
Just
them. So that's
one
why I'm
individual,
seeing. Yeah.
Any reaction?
Yeah. Okay, so I am going to cast from my Echo Knight Ray of Frost
Okay.
on them.
On who?
On the monk that is leaving its range.
Okay. So that's a
that
dex
is
save?
grappling. Ray of Frost is a ranged spell attack against the
Very
target.
nice. Oh.
And it is, I believe, at advantage because they're flanked because of the grapple.
No.
Oh, but do they have disadvantage because of grapple? I might be thinking of Starfinder.
Grapple is movement 0, restrain is disadvantage and
You're talking
advantage on
about
attacks and stuff.
They're grappling.
Oh, okay.
And you might have disadvantage on this because it's a ranged spell attack and you're in melee range.
But they're we'll say just roll flat.
Okay. That's gonna be a 17 to hit.
That is a miss. You fire, trying to slow them down as they pull Eleanor over this. You can see they now hold you, Eleanor, over just this gaping chasm. You imagine, you can feel the grip beginning to loosen. They're
Yeah.
just going to drop you.
Yeah.
But that is their turn. The final group that we have. Yeah.
At any point during that, is Eleanor considered falling?
No,
Not yet.
Okay. Or the monks?
no.
Are they,
The only one who's falling right now is that sheep.
We're gonna fight over who can save Eleanor.
Everybody else can fly. So the 2 who are over behind you, Shae, are going to attack. First, the one that you struck.
Yep.
They're going to attack you 3 times. One's a natural 20.
Okay.
One is going to be a 13.
Okay.
And one is a 29.
Okay. You got a wheel.
So the 29 is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning and 1 of necrotic. The critical hit, if you're lucky, is going to be 11 points of bludgeoning and 4 of necrotic.
Mm-hmm.
And then each of them is going to use their grisly wounds.
Yep.
To deal an additional 25 points of poison from the first.
Okay.
Ooh, and 20 points of poison damage from the second.
Okay.
As you feel the energy just wreathes around them, this technique that is able to convert their own bodily energy into additional damage. You can see a little bit of pallor kind of gain into their face. You know that they're hurting from this, but they hurt you back. That is action, bonus action. All of my monks. At the end of that turn, Joruxa will use a legendary action to, again, Assassin's Dodge up. And Akka. You know, have a lot of friends up there.
Hey, that's cool. Akka's
had
not
friends
had
before.
a lot of friends in
Aw.
his life.
That is the monks. That brings us to the top of the round. At initiative order 20, there is an environmental effect. Akka, since you're the last person hit, can you roll a d4?
Don't let us down, buddy.
1. There is a surge in the sand around you, a pulse of storm winds, and blinding elements of these obsidian shards just sweep across. Can everybody make Constitution saving throws, please?
Come on.
That includes these monks. Does not include Joruxa.
Not saving
It's
throws.
1 fail.
Big oof.
26.
That is a success.
Dirty 20.
That is a success.
23.
That is a success.
16.
Failure.
Definitely failed.
The two of you, and interestingly enough, Eleanor, the monk that is grappling you, they are one of the ones that fail as well.
Oh.
As the wind howls by you, you and the monk each take 10 points of damage. But more importantly, Brenna, these shards just right by your face, and you feel elements of obsidian just impale you in the eyes. You have to blink out against it, and you are blinded.
Damn it!
Until the end of your next turn. So is that monk that is holding Eleanor, and you can kind of feel they jolt and almost let you go a little early. But that is the environmental action at the top of the round. That brings us to Joruxa.
Wait, new round or no?
Yeah. So Joruxa now is right next to
I
you,
could use
Akka.
my reaction for that.
And they point Star Mourner in your direction.
That's crazy.
And they are going to say, you, it's time to feel the weight of grief. And they're going to take a multi-attack against you. First with 2 strikes. The first one is only going to be a 24 to hit.
That's a pizza.
It's a pizza with a 24. So with that first hit, you are taking... Sorry, this is going to take a second. You are going to take 10 points of magical bludgeoning plus 4 points of necrotic plus 1 point of psychic. And as you are hit by this, make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Hold on. 15. Is this against being charmed or a spell?
It is not.
Okay. Wisdom save?
Yep.
That's a 13. I'm going to use a flash of genius to make it an 8. No, I'm not going to use it because it's probably still a failure. This guy's strong.
Total of?
13.
You have disadvantage on your next attack roll or saving throw. And additionally, as a bonus action, as they hit you with this strike, and you can feel it gets right between the elements of your armor. This is an expert strike, yes?
I would still have the +3, right? Nah, it
It's
doesn't matter.
It's a D3
A
to
D3
attacks and
saving throws, right?
no
Oh,
ability
checks.
checks.
Okay, sorry.
I think I said it wrong the
So-
first time.
As a bonus action,
Yeah.
they twist this blade and use Grief Strike.
Oh,
And they're going to deal an additional 6d10 piercing damage.
six,
Damage.
6d10.
That is the right.
Regular piercing damage?
This is magical piercing. I'm sorry,
Aw.
this is psychic damage. This is
Oh.
not piercing damage. This is
Oh.
Grief Strike. So,
I think I have.
that would be nice. 15,
Now is the time, Aka.
24, 33, 42, 46. That is 46 points of psychic damage.
Oh, wow.
Are you reduced to 0 HP?
No.
Okay. You can see
Sad
as they strike, the runes on this blade disappear, and across your skin rips, and these glyphs appear on your arms, on your legs. You can feel them begin to sink into your flesh and threaten to crumble your body into ash.
Damn, I just got
But
it
you are
back.
able to resist this grief strike. Yeah, but very close to dragging you down. That is an action. That is a bonus action. That is all that Joruxa can do on their turn. That brings us to Shae. Shae, you are 30 feet away from your uncle. And you watch as they stab Aka and twist the blade, pulling an essence of their soul into this weapon. What are you doing?
I am going to continue my attack
Okay.
for 2 strikes. At least. We'll see. 30?
30 is a hit.
All of you do so
Ooh,
stupid.
sad damage noises.
Like that.
17.
17, all right.
Second one, natural 20.
Very nice.
Yummy.
This is with the staff.
Okay, roll damage.
Uh-oh.
Double the dice roll. This ink is still wet.
Damn.
It's just a G2 pen. It's like not super high quality ink.
26 points of damage, and on a critical hit, the staff casts Reality Break.
Fantastic. As it absolutely just rips through this person. They are dead. And then Reality Break, remind me again, because it's been
I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, reality break.
You shatter the barriers between realities and timelines, thrusting a creature into turmoil and madness. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or it can take reaction, or it can't take reactions until the spell ends. Affected target must also roll a d10 at the start of each of its turns. The number determines what they can do on their turn.
So they just are almost cut in half on both sides of their body, unable to take reactions for the rest of their life.
Can I have reality break target the other guy next to me, since the staff is casting it?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Anything else?
Yes. So, with that, because I'm hasted, I am going to move away from this lovely friend here
Okay.
and use Aka kind of as a stepping stone to get up boop, and attack Joruxa.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll. You step off Aka.
Did Joruxa
Natural 20.
get into
You gotta
Did
love
he
the
what?
thematic
Did he
natural
get
one.
into my
Ooh,
range?
can you reality break again?
Slash
Yes.
me?
Yeah.
Reality break.
So he's
again.
next.
Wow.
On a critical hit at reality.
So I'm just gonna move myself up here to make it easier, but we're like at that
Yeah.
same
Fate
level.
changing now.
So the rebranding is really important.
Let's not forget Shae has a wheel also.
32. 40 points of damage, and
What kind of damage is that?
Staff.
Bonking.
Is that from Reality Break?
No, that is from the staff. So the
Magical
magical bludgeoning plus, and it's force damage.
Yep. Okay. Excellent. That is the full amount that you would expect.
And the staff cast Reality Break.
Very nice. So that is a con save.
It's a wisdom saving throw.
That is going to be an 18.
That is a meets it, beats it, I think.
There you go. Anything else?
Yes, I'm going to patient defense. That's what I'm going to
You
do.
take this patient defense. He looks at you and he says, "How far you've risen, little bird. This does not concern you. You've saved Alberon, haven't you? Fly away. Take your fleeting life and be. I will be gone in just a moment." And they turn over and you can see they reverse their grip on the blade. That is the end of your turn.
That is the end of my turn.
As a legendary action, at the end of your turn, they're going to stab Aka in the neck.
Oh, damn.
He needs that.
Aka does a 29 hit.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Okay. So first,
We just got back.
for the raw damage, that is going to be 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Plus,
Magical, all bludgeoning?
all of this is magical.
Okay.
2 points of necrotic, plus 2 more points of necrotic, plus 1 point of psychic, and then an additional 23 points of piercing damage. That is the legendary action attack. And in fact, yeah, that is all that they can do with that legendary action attack. That is at the end of Shae's turn. That brings us to Brenna.
All right, so I am blind, but I know where I last saw Eleanor.
Yeah.
Can I now? I can just get over there with my 35 feet of movement. Can I fly in the direction that I know I last saw Eleanor and just try to get her in a big hug, grappling mechanically?
Sure. I will say that would be an attack roll at disadvantage against Eleanor's AC to be able to grab her.
Can it be a grapple check?
Sure.
Okay. I am strong. Okay, so I fly over and then
I would say still at disadvantage.
so
'cause-
I roll my athletics at disadvantage and then
Correct.
yeah. Is it contested?
Versus
No.
my AC.
I would say just verse AC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So disadvantage.
You have a really good chance.
I do 21.
My
There you
AC is
go.
only 17.
Hell
So
yeah.
flying across the
Hug.
space, it is just right on like the tips of your hands.
Yeah.
You feel like Brenna's tiny little gnome hand on your back, and then she just scoops you like a basketball into a hug.
Does that break the monk's grapple or are we just both grappling?
You're both grappling.
Okay. And that's Brenna's turn. She's just gonna hold on for dear life so that
Alright.
if Eleanor gets dropped, she won't fall.
Very smart. You grab onto Eleanor. The monk grabs on. The monk like kind of pushes Eleanor, doesn't go anywhere. The monk pushes again. It is like a reverse tug of war.
There are 3 blind people grappled in the middle of the air right now.
That is your turn.
I had advantage on that, so it would have been flat. but
At the
no
end of your
worries.
turn, Joruxa will take a legendary action to make another unarmed strike on Aka. However, that is only going to be a 21 to hit.
That's a miss.
And so in this moment, you are able to turn and just catch the blade on the pauldron of your armor. That is Brenna's turn. That brings us to Eleanor.
Can I just mention, I had the wrong wild magic thing. It's actually the 1d6 force damage. So it doesn't matter because when I tried to use it, I didn't hit.
Yeah.
But just for the record.
Good to know. Eleanor.
Okay, so I am blinded. I believe I can't really aim the dancing rapier very well when I'm blinded, even if I'm aware of where the person is.
Yeah, it's still disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're also blinded,
Also true.
so it'll be flat.
True.
It's okay if you need to stab me.
Reaction. Otherwise,
Reaction offer to be stabbed.
I also just physically stab the person.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, mixed attack roll. Next attack
Wait.
roll.
Why could you see me earlier when I was invisible? Do you have blind sight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Within
so
10
you're
feet of me.
so you actually can see him because you have blind sight, right?
Yeah. As long as I can hear them, I can see them. I
Okay.
know where they are. Yeah. So I know where everyone is. It's just I don't know exactly where the rapier is in space right now. So just the aim is a little awkward. So what I'm going to do instead is I'll use my bonus action to steady aim with my stabbing.
Very nice.
And I will
Bell on your dagger.
one
Or
day.
your rapier.
The wood chimes are on the ship. I will stab the monk behind me.
Fantastic. Make your attack
Damn, I
roll.
forgot about the
Make it
chime.
flat.
Okay, that is
That's
a
really all you
22.
That is a hit.
Okay.
on
Now, I think because Brenna's here,
Hello.
it's not a sneak attack anymore.
I think you do get a sneak attack because Brenna is there.
I'm within 5
No,
feet
so
of
this
the
is
enemy.
this is where the
It's the
swashbuckler
one
thing comes in.
swashbuckler
Dis-
spot where it doesn't give you
Yeah.
advantage.
Alright,
They're
but
blind.
They are
so
They
they
are
are blind.
but
so
I-
It's just a flat
blind.
roll. It's just a flat roll because now we're
Yeah.
now we're stacking positives and negatives, and it just doesn't matter. It's just a
I'm
flat
blind. They're blind. We're all blind.
But are you not? If you have blind sense, then you're not blind. Then you wouldn't have disadvantage, and you would just have advantage because they're blind. Unless I'm misunderstanding your blind sense.
If you're able to hear or aware of a location of any hidden or invisible creature within 10 feet of you.
They're not hidden or invisible.
Oh, I see.
They're
So this
flying
isn't
also.
blind sight. Got it.
It's
Blind sense.
It's blind sense, but it's a very specific one.
Yeah.
But they're also touching you.
They're also like physically touching me. So anyway, if another enemy or target within 5 feet of that enemy is incapacitated and you don't have disadvantage on the attack roll. Question.
Yes.
For a sneak attack.
Yes.
Once per turn.
Yes.
You don't need advantage on the attack roll if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it. That enemy isn't incapacitated and you don't have disadvantage on the attack roll.
Correct. Second here. There's just something for swashbuckling.
Yeah, so you don't need advantage in the attack roll to use your sneak attack against a creature if you were in 5 feet of it and no other creatures are within 5 feet of it, and you don't have disadvantage in the attack roll. I think that Ricochet Audacity would just give you an automatic sneak attack if Brenna wasn't
I
here.
think so, yeah. And actually, I think you still have it with Brenna there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's just swashbucklers are the way everything is worded for them is very strange.
It is. Sword Coast Adventure good.
Yeah, it's
It's one of the earlier source books.
yeah, it's fine. Everyone, we all grow with time, and I'm just going to just. Friend is like, stab a friend. I'm little. Okay, it's fine.
I can take it.
That's 9. That is another 9. That is. Oh, say that's 9. So, it's 27. It's 37. 42 points of magical piercing
Very
damage.
nice. That's a good amount of damage. They're grappling you. Brenna's grappling you. It's the three of you swirling around in space, just stabbing each other at this point.
Really weird.
Anything else, Eleanor?
So that was my action and my bonus action. For my free action, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to just take my free arm and just kind of pat around until I find Brenna's arm to kind of grab back onto her.
Okay, no problem. You grab onto Brenna, doubling the strength of that grip.
Mm-hmm.
That is your turn, Eleanor?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Drux is going to hold his final legendary action for now. That brings us to Akka.
Okay. I am going to use my bonus action, pop this guy right over here for flanking against Joruxa.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to use my action to cast haste on myself.
Okay.
And then I am going to use my second action from haste to make an attack on Joruxa.
Okay. Make your attack roll.
And that's going to be a few attacks with my... So the first attack's going to be a 27. Do I get the +3 D3 for this?
Yeah,
Or
plus
text.
D3.
Is it used once or every time?
28.
Every time.
Ooh.
28 is a hit.
Nice.
10 whole minutes. So this is
It's
a
gonna
really
be-
long fucking battle.
First attack, 4. Nice, good amount of damage.
forgot when she was out of this
That's going to be
feature, but-
19 magical slashing damage.
Okay.
Then the next attack is going to be, that's a 20, 30 something,
Yep,
33.
that'll hit.
For another 16 magical slashing. And then I'm going to use one of my charges of my Echo Knight Strike. I forget what it's called. To make another attack.
Okay.
And that's going to be another, 33. to hit
33 will hit.
for another 17 slashing damage, magical slashing damage.
Very nice. They will, as a reaction to that final attack, use Uncanny Dodge to have it.
Okay. And then I'm going to use my action surge to get another action. And I'm going to use I'm going with action surge. I can't cast another spell, right?
Correct.
Then I'm gonna just make another attack.
Okay, make your attack.
So that's gonna be. Like a 35.
Yep,
I think.
that'll hit.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. And that's going to be 19 magical slashing.
Very nice.
And let me just make sure that I can't do the other thing one more time with it. Take the attack action. Oh,
Chest. Oh, it's a dumpster.
yeah, I can use it again. So I'm going to make one additional attack from the Echo's position.
Okay.
And that's going to be 21 to hit.
21 is going to be a meets it, beats it.
Nice. For lowest damage for 9 points of magical slash.
Hey, every little bit counts. And that's a good amount of damage. You can see Joruxa was absolutely unscathed prior to coming in here. Maybe just a little bit of kind of a scratch on his cheek. Now he's starting to look a little hurt. Anything else, Akka?
I think that's it for me.
Okay. At the end of your turn, he is going to use his final legendary action to take another grief strike against you. That is going to be pretty close. 21 to hit.
That's a miss.
There you go. And so that is all their legendary actions. They miss with that strike, kind of wincing, unaware of how hurt they really were. But that is Akka's turn. That brings
free
us.
action. Be like, I just got back, old man. I'm not dying now. Boo, 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 boo. Slash, slash,
Stabbed
slash,
in the
slash,
neck, so
slash.
you're like,
That brings us to Ernold.
sorry, you don't do that. It's not as cool.
Arnold, you watch
put
as
me
a
so
sheep
far
just
away.
plunges out
Nah.
of, off the back. That's like one of my
Alright.
favorite things that's happened to this game. That's amazing.
I'm keeping track. I tried to look it up. It looks like every round 500 feet. So that keeps us now
they're going
500 feet
fast.
below.
They're going fast, yeah.
So I'm going to I'm gonna
Campaign the big bad is a sheep.
start to take a
during my
running
fall.
leap, and before I go, I firebolt this guy,
Okay.
and I have advantage because he's blinded.
Yep.
Right? Does a
Through the astral plane. Just
23 hit?
23 does hit.
All right.
but
Then
sheep.
I will just roll
Sheep
that. That will be 23 fire damage.
With 23 points of fire damage, they have been stabbed, they have been hit for multiple times. They're barely holding on to Eleanor anymore. Brenna, it's a good thing that you're holding on to Eleanor because Ernold just firebolts them right in the face and they let go, grabbing onto their burning face as they just kind of plummet to the sand.
All right. I would like
You can
to.
pull one and orange off.
Nice.
I would like to. Can I take a reaction?
Depends if it's triggered by that, yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna read Featherfall. So it says, one reaction which I can take when me or a creature within 6 of me falls. This creature is now falling, so I would like to Featherfall,
Okay.
and I would like to Featherfall me and these two.
Okay. Fantastic.
It doesn't say it has to be the falling creature.
Featherfall, that's
That's
technically
pretty
true.
good. Technically correct, the best kind of
So
breath.
for a minute, if you happen to fall, you'll only fall 60 feet per round instead of 500.
It says choose up to 5 falling creatures within range.
Oh.
They must be falling.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. I don't
Arnold
do
like
that.
jumps and casts
So,
it really fast.
so I think technically if you were up in an elevated place and you just dropped off, cast the spell, and then at the very end of your turn did like face step or something, you could like do that. It's a very cool idea.
Okay.
But neither here nor there. Anything else?
But I can't do it on them too because they're not considered falling. All right.
Moved up onto that
I'm
rock
just
and then
gonna
jumped off.
carry her over.
I'm gonna
Fade
then
away
take
shot.
a running jump and over here Misty step the rest of the way over here.
Fantastic. You just kind of feather step, fall your way back down, and just
And he's
alight
standing
on the
spot
element
over
of basalt.
I look over to the left here and there's just a floating storm. Like, oh, hello.
Good. That is your turn.
I think I still have some movement. So is this a bad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just hanging out, probably kind of literally. I can get
I think I will
Oh, why
just
not?
kind of move.
The sword is an ally, so.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I'll stand next to the sword. I feel safe next to the sword then.
It's yeah, there you go.
You turn, the sword turns, you're back to back. Anything else, Ernold?
That will be it. And I maintain concentration, so now the sheep is 1,000 feet below.
Can you roll a D100, please?
Are Brenna and I mechanically blinded until something happens, or is it just for the round?
Until
was
the
the
end
end
of their
of
turn. So
Under
you
your
guys are
So
in a
I'm not
second.
blind anymore. Okay.
21.
21.
And you're not blind anymore either.
No, we're
With a
fine.
21, you feel Featherfall and Polymorph as well.
Which direction?
Oh, I didn't have Featherfall because I couldn't cast
Or
it.
Polymorph then would end.
But I feel Polymorph ended?
Yes.
Ah,
You would imagine that sheep struck something.
gotcha.
So the way that this works out, one is going to be attacking Ernold. One will be attacking Akka. One will be attacking Shae.
At Shae's disadvantage.
So Ernold, this one that closes into you, as you land, you turn back to back with the sword, and this monk comes running around the side of this pillar and then leaps at you with these attacks. On the low end of these attacks, we have an 18.
I cast shield, so that will miss.
Okay. Then we have a 22,
That will hit.
and then a 23. So 2 hits out of those total. Ernold, the first one is going to be just 7 points of bludgeoning plus 3 of necrotic. The second one is going to be 11 of bludgeoning and 1 of necrotic. And can you make a con saving throw, please?
Oof.
Is the one attacking me?
Ooh.
Or Echo?
This feels like an important con saving throw.
That one, the one attacking you, yeah.
In
Con saving
one of
throw?
his hands, he's holding or has a Transmutor Stone, and it
Yes.
flares to life, as it's currently set to give me proficiency in con saving throws.
Very nice.
So the 29.
29 is a success. You are able to resist. You can feel the muscles in your body begin to lock up, but the stone flares to life, and you resist that. That is their action. Then, as a bonus action, they will flurry of blows.
Oh my god. Please, I'm just an old man.
The low one is going to miss, but the high one is going to be a 27 to hit. And so you're going to take an additional 12 points of bludgeoning damage and 3 of necrotic. That is the one fighting with Ernold. We flash over to the one that is attacking you. Shae, first attack at disadvantage is going to be, ooh, that's a 28 to hit.
That'll hit.
Second one,
disadvantage?
yeah, 19, 18.
Okay.
Second one at disadvantage is going to be a 12 to hit.
That will miss.
And the third one is going to be a 11 to hit with a
That's
natural
nice.
1. So
Thank you.
the only one that does end up hitting you will deal 6 points of bludgeoning damage and 1 point of necrotic, as they do the minimalist of damage that they could possibly do.
No.
They've already used their Grizzly Strikes, and so they will use Flurry of Blows.
Okay.
They're going to miss. They're going to miss twice as they unleash 2 strikes at 14 and 16. That person, unable with the Staff of Twisted Fates, you just parry blow after blow, still locking eyes with Joruxa, not even having to divert your attention. The one who is attacking you, Akka, is going to take 3 attacks first. On the low end of things, we have a 19.
Miss.
Then going up just a little bit, we have a 25.
Miss.
And then we have a
Hell
27.
Ooh, that just hits.
Just barely hitting you with that 27. You are only taking 10 points of bludgeoning damage and a single point of necrotic. They will turn that over to a flurry of blows. That is going to be a 28 to hit and a 27 to hit.
That's 2 hits.
And so the first one will be 12 points of bludgeoning and 1 of necrotic. Second one will be 14 points of bludgeoning and 4 of necrotic. As they just lay into you. But that is all of our monks, and that brings us to the top of the round. I almost said Valis. Ernold, can you roll a d4 for me, please?
3.
A 3. There is a sudden flare of superheated air that races across as part of this windstorm. Anybody not resistant or immune to fire, please make a DC 18 con saving throw.
I'm immune to fire.
There you go. You don't
Has
have to
the
take this
head
off.
fail?
DC 18.
This is very exciting. I didn't think it was going to come
So
into
it's
play.
25?
Con save, yeah. 25, that's a success.
22.
That is a success. Success.
14.
14, that is a failure.
Can I use a reaction to try to protect Eleanor, like,
Oh,
with
I
my
can also
body?
just Flash of Genius.
Oh, you could do that.
Are you Flash of Genusing?
Actually, let me make sure, because it might not be in my range.
I don't believe it is.
No, it's not.
I'm pretty
within my
small,
range.
so...
There's not really anything I
Okay.
don't think you could do,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
That's
Eleanor, you do take 21 points of fire damage. As this fire just gets super heated, and as the wind races across, you being kind of held aloft, you cannot turn or protect yourself in any way. You just take it full on in the front of the face, like instantly developing a sunburn across the front of your body. But that is the environmental action that brings us to Joruxa.
There's a Brenna-shaped part of your clothing that has been protected, but she's too little to protect your head.
Owie, I am.
So Joruxa is now standing toe to toe with you, Shae. He's going to again point the dagger over at Akka, and he is going to say, "You've been alive for but a brief moment. Don't throw it away. I will take this ship, and I will use Stormmourner to power it into the astral sea. You do not need to worry about me. I will tear the eclipse aside and rejoin what I have lost. Go, Shae. You can still survive. Sorry about your friend." And he turns and he is going to attack you first, twice. Actually, we'll attack once first. That is going to be a 28 to hit.
That's gonna hit.
With that first hit, first the damage is only going to be 12 points of magical piercing plus 3 of necrotic plus an additional 5 of necrotic
I'm down.
plus an additional 5 of psychic. You drop down onto the ground, instantly sort of dropping.
Is he falling?
I believe you will be.
Alright, he's featherfalled now.
Okay. Featherfall the body of Akka as he just begins to drift down.
How far up was he?
Well, infinite, technically.
No, like where is this actually where they are? Like,
Yeah, so they're
this point
probably
in the
about
map?
like 40 feet off the plane of the
Okay.
map.
So then he
A
will
little
drop and be
further.
20 feet under.
Something like
dropping
that.
yet.
But yeah,
Oh, he's not dropping yet?
not
No,
yet.
because
No.
it happens.
Stuff happens.
So yeah, he's like, it's like the momentum of his body like dying up here. Drux is going to instantly turn over to you, Shae, and they're going to...
Shae is just defending for what it's worth. Just
That's fair. So, in between, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him continue his movement, actually. He's going to zip away from you, Shae.
Okay.
And he is going to fly down to Ernold.
Oh.
As Akko falls down to the ground, because it only took one attack, he's going to take a second attack against you.
Sorry, buddy.
Damn.
And he is so quick that he just appears behind you. You don't see him approach, but behind you, you feel this breath on the back of your neck. And he says, "So sorry about this, old man." And he is going to deal...
At
sorry,
least
he's
this
going
one's sorry.
That is 26 to hit?
That will hit.
Okay, so this attack, and
Throw my body on that one.
that is going to be just 14 points of magical bludgeoning and 3 of necrotic, plus an additional 1 of necrotic and 3 more of psychic. That is just the action attack. They are then going to, as a bonus action, use their flurry of blows and take 2 additional attacks. Does a 22 hit, Ernold?
Yes.
Okay. That is going to be an additional 10 points of bludgeoning and 1 of necrotic plus 5 more of psychic. The second attack is going to be a 28 to hit.
That hits.
And that is going to be an additional 14 points of bludgeoning and 3 of necrotic. 3 more of necrotic. And 4 of psychic.
Wow.
And then, can you, for me, make a wisdom saving throw?
Oh boy.
You put it back on. What shade's on it? I got it.
Ooh, 22.
With a 22, you just barely succeed. As they stab into you and attempt to inflict you with grief with each one of these stabs, you can feel it is as if there is elements of sadness creeping into your life from the past. There is loss associated not just with this weapon, but with the wounds that is carving within you as well. And you imagine if you had lost this, your wisdom score would have decreased pretty substantially.
Well, thank you. I
But it
already
does
had
not.
grief for lunch.
It does not in this moment. You are able to withstand that onslaught from Joruxa. That is all that they can do on their turn. That brings us to Shae.
As he's leaving, we walk the same path, Joruxa. Need drives us. That's all. I urge you, stop now. Come talk. And then I'm going to use an action to regenerate Ori from the staff.
Okay.
Ori pops up. Where the fuck am
Ori
I?
is like just starting to fall. You swing the staff and forcefully just jam it into his gut and like launch him 5 feet back up in the air, regenerating him.
God damn it.
Somehow I feel sad.
Akka, you still can't escape the mortal coil.
You're getting even the healing is being bludgeoned into you.
That is 22 plus 15 hit points.
Very nice.
And you regain 1 hit point at the start of each of your turns.
22
For the next,
plus
like,
15.
As you are slammed by the staff of twisted fate, you feel life just regenerated into you, and more than that, you can feel at a cellular level, or Akka, your body begin to rebuild itself. Anything else?
I'm going to patient defense again and just kind of turn around to like wait for Joruxa.
Okay, yeah, you can see Joruxa just knifing Ernold in the back, but that is your turn.
That's my
At the
turn.
end of your turn, Joruxa is going to just stab your companion again.
I couldn't go anywhere, so.
That is going to be a 29 to hit.
That will hit.
That is going to be 13 points of piercing damage plus 3 points of necrotic damage plus 4 points of psychic damage. That is their legendary action. That brings us to Brenna. Eleanor, you're on deck.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so I can carry Eleanor, but only with half my movement speed. And we measured, and that'll get us right to here.
Nice.
We're both gonna purge here. And then I'm gonna turn and be like, I don't really know your deal, but you're threatening Shae, and I can't tolerate that. Also, you killed Akka. That's bad too. And just gonna
I'm
start
okay
hitting him
again.
with
Are we flanking?
Make your attack roll. I believe you are.
yeah. Okay, so
Old man flank.
2 attacks. We've got first one's gonna be 22.
That would normally hit. As a
Oh wait,
reaction,
with my D3. Oh, 23.
as a reaction, they're going to hold up their hand and just punch straight into the center of your axe, deflecting it off as they parry and add 5 to their AC.
All right, second attack. That's 29.
That is a hit.
Okay. That's gonna be 19 points of damage.
Very nice. They're
And-
starting to look pretty hurt.
Yeah, and then yeah, she's gonna be like, "Arr! Stop stabbing that old man. He's weird, but he's so old."
So
No problem. At the end of your turn, he will take a legendary action to attack you, saying, very well. And stabbing out at you, that is going to be a 28 to hit.
Yep. This is good. This is what we
Brenna,
want.
that is 14 points of piercing damage plus 2 points of necrotic damage plus 3 points of psychic damage.
3, you said?
Yep.
Alright.
They will also, at that point, after stabbing you, say, it was you that came here, not me. That is their legendary action. That brings us to Eleanor. Akka, you're on deck.
Question.
Yes.
Is it possible for me to reach over Brenna to interact with Joruxa in any way?
No.
Okay.
Unless you have 10-foot reach.
Yeah, right. So, because I have an idea, but I need to be closer to Joruxa.
What you doing?
Is that spot that the monk is standing on top of,
Mhm.
do I need to make an athletics or an acrobatics check to get up there?
Do you have a climb speed?
No.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I will use my bonus action to do elegant maneuver to get advantage on the next acrobatics or athletics checks
Very nice.
to get myself up there without
Absolutely.
falling on my ass. So I'm hoping this is not an extreme movement.
He thinks it.
I listen. I get a minimum 10.
What are you gonna do
right?
next? Cast guiding bolt at me?
Acrobatics. That
Alina feels unsafe.
a 27.
With a 27, you
Across space
leap
and time.
up, just kind of as you are dropped by Brenna, using the momentum, just carry yourself up and parkouring up onto the top. Absolutely.
And then I will just make a melee attack. Are we stuck together? Okay.
I got you.
I will actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do a I'm gonna in the monk's ear. I'm going to make a panache and just basically be like, following someone who will kill an old man for sport. How sad.
You kind of stumble in and just whisper it into the ear. There is this kind of reflexive jerk, as it is a little uncomfortable for them.
Okay, so that is a math 30
And that's insight.
insight.
They're pretty good at it. 13, because it was a low roll. So, very
All right,
nice.
so they have disadvantage against other people and can't make opportunity against other people.
Yeah,
So they can only do it against
they certainly seem to be turning in your direction, though. Anything else, Eleanor?
Good. As a bonus action. At a glance, can I tell which hand the ring is on, or is it just
At
I
a
would just
glance,
spend-
especially with how fast they're moving,
No.
certainly. not.
Okay, that's my turn then.
Okay. That is your turn, Eleanor. That brings us to Akka.
Joruxa took 1 point of force damage
Oh,
when he hit
right.
me.
And actually, sorry. Another good thing about that. He will take a legendary action. He's hit or tried to hit your wizard companion a couple times now. It hasn't worked out super well. So he will turn back to you.
Layers
Arnold.
of muscle underneath these robes.
His eyes will narrow and he'll say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And he'll shove you.
But he's not a cat.
Can you make an athletics check, please?
Oh no. Oh no.
boy.
I rolled a 2.
All right.
So this is
Not gonna be a
athletics check, you
23.
said?
Yeah.
And athletics 3.
You are shoved off.
Okay.
And you begin to fall as you are just pushed over into this abyss. Do you have a flying speed right now?
No.
You watch as this old man shoved off this cliff by Joruxa. He kind of leans over, watching as you kind of drop.
It's fine. He's a transmutation wizard. He'll be fine. Well, also, we've seen Akka save people from falling before.
True. That is the end of Eleanor's turn. That brings us, I believe, to Akka.
God damn it. This old man. So, coming back to life.
I'll be fine. I will be fine.
He did say that.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to come back to life.
Reaction
Yet
come back to
again.
life.
What life is Akka on, by the way?
Like 10.
At
at
least
this
5,
point.
yeah.
He's making a couple of
Still
the
nowhere near Gunter. And I'm going to recast haste on myself.
Okay, absolutely. Recast haste.
And then I am going to fly over to... So I'm going to fly roughly over to here.
Okay.
So that I have line of sight on Joruxa.
Okay. Yeah.
To use my spell stored item to... You don't need me to grab you, do you?
I'll be fine.
Okay. To Vortex Warp Joruxa.
How many times are you able to use that?
10
10
times.
times. Very nice. Okay. Wisdom save?
I believe it's a con save.
Natural 20.
Damn.
Okay.
Alright, so he saves that. And then I'm going to use the rest of my movement to fly over here.
Okay.
And then bonus action, I'm going to resummon my ghosty guy,
Sure.
my Echo Knight.
Ghosty guy appears behind that monk. Anything else, Akka?
That's it for me.
Arnold, you begin to fall.
All right, so at the beginning of my turn, like, where am I? I'm
You're
kind of...
like literally about to start falling. So
Oh,
you're,
okay.
like- yeah.
Could I just just Misty step back onto the thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You're like, you fall like 15 feet off and just misty step right back up to the top.
Yeah. So I'll just Misty step.
Rude.
Can I share the same space with the sword?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
It's just a rapier.
Rapier.
You could just kind of like bat it out of the way a little bit.
Okay. And unfortunately, that's a leveled spell, so I cannot cast another level spell during my turn, right? Okay. Then in that case, I am pretty hurt, so I think that I am going to take my transmutation stone and use it to actually I'll just use the potion. No. Misty Step is a bonus action, so I can't. Alright.
Can you choose to make a potion about an actual action? Like taking a potion?
Probably. But I think as an action, I am going to destroy my Transmuter Stone.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to crush it, and I'm going to use the Panacea effect, and
Yeah.
it removes all curse, disease, poisons, and the creature also regains all its HP.
There you go.
Damn.
So I will just heal
Old man's got
1
tricks.
million HP.
You shatter this stone using all the magic that you fused into it to regain massive amounts of health in this moment. Anything else, Ernold?
Let's see. I think that is the end of my turn.
All right. That does bring us to the monks. So I only got 3 of these guys left, I think. And,
Yeah. One of them's targeting
It's
Eleanor
like
and probably
nigh
the-
untouchable. So they're gonna actually break this. Well, this is the Echo Knight, right?
Yeah.
They can tell that actually, so they'll stay there. This person
They
with
can hit it.
Eleanor.
It is a valid target.
Yeah, but they know better than to waste on that.
But they're also panache, right? So they can only go after
Yeah, they're gonna go after Eleanor.
Yep.
So Eleanor,
Yes.
we're gonna start with this person.
Yeah.
First, they attack you just alone with 3 attacks.
Yep.
On the lower end here, that's a 20 to hit.
A 20 does hit.
Okay. For the first one, that is 9 points of bludgeoning plus 3 of necrotic. For the second one, that is 9 points of bludgeoning and 2 of necrotic.
So what is the hit on that though?
27.
Okay. Then can I defensive duelist the first one and then take the second and third?
Yep.
Okay.
So you defensive duelist the first one.
Yep.
The second one is going to be, the third one is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning and 3 of necrotic.
Okay.
That is the action.
Yes.
As a bonus action, they will take Flurry of Blows. This is their last one. And a 20 and a 21 to hit. Those both hit.
Those would both.
First one is going to be 12 points of bludgeoning and 1 of necrotic. Second one will be only 7 points of bludgeoning and 1 of necrotic.
Okay. Hang on. What was the first one?
I don't
Was
know.
it 20? Did you say 20?
7 and 1 of
7.
There you go.
Okay.
Zoned out.
There were a lot of numbers, and they need to
Yeah,
do
no.
some math. And he's like,
Anything else? Any other reactions?
"Give me 1 second.
Okay. After that, we'll swoop over to the one for Shae.
I'm still alive. I'm still up. I'm still up."
Okay. Shae, you are taking 3 attacks from the one behind you. They are at disadvantage, so actually. The first one is a miss. Second one is going to be a 18 to hit.
That will miss.
And then even lower, so you are able to withstand those 3. The staff just knocking their arms out of the way. The one that is on the other side of you is going to... They're going to move 5 feet over, actually, so that they don't get disadvantage on these attacks.
That does provoke an opportunity.
It does
attack.
provoke an opportunity attack. Go ahead and take it if you want. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast fucking firebolt at it.
Go for it.
Does a no, it doesn't probably. Oh wait, plus 3. No, probably not. Does a 17
It
hit?
does not. So, this creature kind of skates out of the way from you, Akka. The first attack is going to be a 21 to hit.
Me?
Yeah.
That will miss.
And then 2 27s.
Those will hit.
Okay. So the first one of those will be 14 points of bludgeoning damage and 2 of necrotic. The second one will be 10 points of bludgeoning damage and 4 of necrotic.
Okay.
Then that is all of my monks. That brings us to the top of the round. Tina, can you roll a d4 for me, please?
I never use D4s. 3.
With a 3. Can't be heat pulse again, and so underneath you, Eleanor and Ernold, and actually really close to where you are, Akka, you feel suddenly a huge amount of shifting. Tina, can you roll a d8 now?
I
I'm
do
there
roll a
too,
lot of those. 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's just under land masses.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh no. Oh no. Are we going for a ride? Doesn't seem. We are. Oh,
Okay.
bye.
We're gonna go for a ride.
That could have been worse.
That could have been way worse.
Again.
This. All right.
You know, I'll take handle this. Yeah.
As elements of the land kind of swish over, these big bits of rock collide, kind of shifting the landscape around. For you, Eleanor, and Ernold, are you flying, Brenna?
I mean, I'm not flying, but I'm currently standing on the.
Could all 3 of you make dexterity saving throws, please?
Sure can. Is this against an effect I can see?
Yeah.
You can see
Nice.
the earth moving underneath
I
you.
can.
9.
9. You try to jump, timing it so that when these rocks collide, you will not be knocked off your feet. But you wait, they collide, you fall.
26.
26, you jump, kind of leaping at the moment that these things collide. You feel the ground shake, even in the air, but you are not knocked prone. Brenna?
14.
14. You leap in the air, but your foot is still on the ground. It is yanked, and you fall flat on your face. But that is the layer action. That brings us to Joruxa.
Are we off or prone?
Prone,
Okay.
not off. So Joruxa, here's what you say, Shae. Man, Brenna's just laying down right there, huh?
Come at me!
Havat the villain.
They're just gonna
his knees
leave Brenna. and move over to Ernold.
Fuck you!
You do provoke an attack of opportunity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, well,
It's a
I'm prone, but
disadvantage.
can I have a
You can
disadvantage?
still,
It is a
attack?
disadvantage.
You can still make attacks of opportunity.
I'm standing.
Eleanor's
Oh no.
Well, you can just put me back on my feet. I may be squishy.
Does a 19 hit for the? Oh no, sorry. Does a math? Does a math
Plus
hit?
your
22.
D3,
Does a 22?
Plus your D3.
Oh, thank
22
you.
just barely hits.
24.
24 hits.
Oh, it's cocked, but it was gonna be a 12. Boo. 15 points.
Hey, that's still pretty good. They wince as they move away. They're starting to look really hurt, but they cross over behind Ernold.
Is it just one hit? Sorry to interrupt. Or is it the attack
It's
action?
one hit. They are going to step over you, Ernold, and they are going to just leap
Die,
up
old
and
man.
stab down.
Ah!
First attack is going to be a 23 to hit.
Hits.
Okay, so with this first attack, that is going to be 9 points of bludgeoning plus 6 of necrotic plus 6 of psychic
That's a lot.
plus. This is the first attack of this round. He's actually making it manually here. Ooh, you are lucky. 1, 1, 1, 1.
I transmuted those dice.
23 points of piercing damage.
In addition to everything you just said.
Correct. That is the first attack.
Dead.
With the second attack. Oh, and these are at advantage. That is going to be 29 to hit.
Yeah, that hit.
Okay. That is going to be just 8 points of bludgeoning plus 7 of necrotic plus 4 of psychic. And then the third attack. Or no, sorry, 2 attacks from that. Then as a bonus action, they are going to grief strike you. 28 hits.
Yes.
Make a... Where'd my item go? Make a... wisdom saving throw, please.
19.
19. That is a failure.
Oh no.
Bully.
Ernold, you take... Gesundheit. 40, 47... you take 52 points of psychic damage as they stab into you, and you feel this blade, the runes disappear off of it and just trace themselves into your skin. You feel yourself begin to bleed as these runes begin to just etch and dance across your face and arms. But that is all that
I've been there.
he can do.
It's rough out here.
Action, bonus action. That brings us to Shae.
Very well. And bonus action to put 4 key points into my overclock ability.
Very nice.
And to do this, I'm going to make one attack, like a left-hand jab, at my friend over there who won't go away.
Okay.
Like a little mosquito.
And that's a... $35 to
That
hit?
is a hit.
Jesus. Okay. And that gives me all these.
Level 18.
It's because I did the full heal with my
Oh, right.
transmutation stone. Philosopher's stone. Saying that so I can be younger.
37 points of damage.
With 37 points, you turn over and just left-hand punch, and with the overclock, it is like the momentum that you generate has multiplied by multiple times, and they are just straight out and into the sand. They disappear from this battle map. Other guy. Yeah.
And then I am going to use that momentum to spring off here. And then here. I'm going to kind of interject myself over Ernold.
Okay.
Yes, please, I'm so old.
Are you like on top?
Yeah, like over him.
We have so many people in that small space.
Eventually,
And then-
we'll figure this out.
I will be taking 2 swipes with the staff
Okay.
at Joruxa.
Make your attack rolls.
Oh, I got
Yeah,
you.
can you get that? This angle's kind of boring.
33 to hit.
33 to hit. That is a hit.
It's 22 points of damage.
Okay.
And then one more. For a... I can't math today. 18 plus 14?
32.
32, that is a hit.
That's fine.
Is this one more? Yeah. I can see the issue.
Now,
It's so hard. I
I'm
know.
gonna
These are
move.
all just
I'm gonna move
sloped.
in a second. I'm gonna move in a second. Anyway.
17 points of damage.
17 points of damage. He is looking rough, but is still up. And at the end of your turn, you kind of cross the space. You say very well. And he looks up at you and he says, "We have nothing to talk about. I care for you, Shae, but you have been alive for but an instant. What could you know about loss?"
It wasn't about me.
And he turns the
Talk to your
blade. He kind of gestures it to you, and he's hurt. This is easily the worst that you have ever seen him look. But that is your turn.
That is my turn.
At the end of your turn, he is, as a legendary action, going to take an attack against you. He swings this short spear around in his hand. That is going to be a natural 20.
As a reaction, I am going to spend 2 points of the bit built up and negate that attack.
Very nice.
Ooh.
Yummy.
So you kind of flash that attack off. What does that do? That
So it pulls 2 out of the stored in the ability and negates the incoming attack.
very nice. So blocking the damage from that critical hit, quite effective. He's going to take a second attack against you.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry, legendary action. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That is your turn, Shae. That brings us to Brenna.
All right. I'm gonna stand up.
Nice.
And then I'm gonna look at Shae over Joruxa's shoulder and be like,
Murderous intent. Like, she's not even looking at you. She's...
okay, cool. If Shae's got murderous intent, Brenna's not gonna feel bad about me
Fuck 'em.
potentially fucking up her grandfather.
Fuck 'em up, Gramps.
And I'm gonna hit. I have Sunbeam. I never use Sunbeam. What? Oh, right, the ring. Can I see, now that I'm kind of looking at him properly, which hand the ring is on?
Yes. Sorry. With the negating the ability, which I'm just looking at the stat block right now.
Mm-hmm.
I see 2 charges, 4 charges, 5 charges, 10 charges.
While under the effect, you can use the buildup of ki in a reaction to negate an incoming physical attack. Doing so consumes 2 units of ki from the buildup and effect ends prematurely.
Oh, sorry. I was reading from the staff.
It's not the staff, it's me.
Very, very.
The
Okay.
problem is me.
So, sorry.
Can I tell which hand the ring is on?
When at this range, you can see it is on his left hand.
Left hand. I'm just gonna yell, left hand! And then I'm gonna hit him twice.
Okay, make your attack rolls.
Alright, that's gonna be
I haven't had a chance to do anything about it. I've just been trying to survive.
34
Getting pushed
to
off the
hit.
ledge.
With the
Does
34,
a
that is a hit.
34 hit?
That is a hit.
Alright, for 17 points of damage, and then second attack, 23.
23 hits. As a reaction, they are going to parry, adding 5 to their AC. No longer hits. Anything else?
Yeah, she's gonna be like, because he said to her, you chose to come here, she's gonna say, I did choose to come here because Shae is my friend, and I'm going to treat her like the family that you don't treat her that way. And she bungles it a little bit because she's not the smartest, but the intent gets across. Reaction.
Absolutely. He smiles at you, and as he smiles, you can see there is blood in his teeth. He is badly hurt. You almost took him out. That last hit might have been the one to do it. But he smiles with the blood dripping out of his mouth, and he says, "And that very friendship is what will bring you down." But he holds the knife a little tighter, and that is your turn. At the end of your turn, he will use a legendary action to...
You bamfing?
He's going to use Assassin's Dodge, moving 15 feet in any direction, provoking no attacks of opportunity.
Who's bamfing?
And he is going to roll out from where Shae is and just bamp around behind Brenna.
Oh, hello.
Oops.
Everyone's falling.
I know.
fell. Our monk
All right.
friend fell.
That is Brenna's turn. That brings us to Eleanor.
Okay, so I'm on top of that rock.
Yes, you
And
are.
I would like I'm fallen. I'm fallen and I can't get out.
Yeah.
I would like to bonus action disengage.
Okay.
Slide down behind Joruxa.
Absolutely.
Action try to sleight of hand the ring off his finger.
Make a sleight of hand check. Absolutely.
That makes it easier for me. I was gonna heat metal on him.
Also a great idea.
Also a great idea. We don't know if this will work.
I
yet.
don't. Wouldn't that just hurt him and kill him and activate the ring?
No, it heats the ring.
The DC for this, by the way, is just his sleight of hand
Sizzle through the
modifier.
finger.
Okay.
Take it off, or it's gonna break. So it's like he can remove
That
it,
is a
or he can
34.
continue to take the damage.
In this moment, as you slide off behind and this person just leaps and rolls around this element, their hand comes out and grabs onto the basalt just to be able to steady themselves as they draw the weapon and point it at Brenna, kind of behind Brenna now. In that moment, before their hand touches the basalt, you slip the ring right off their finger.
I'm going to then slip the ring onto my finger and continue my movement down.
Nice.
No, you don't.
gotta go.
You disappear. It's the one ring. In that moment, as you put the ring on, you activate the contingency. There are two things that are attached to this that could potentially trigger, and in this moment, you have activated one. In that moment, as you slip it off and you disappear, you hear behind you Joruxa say, "No!" And you suddenly earn a very dark space.
Uh-oh. Contingency.
For all of you, you hear this loud
Shot.
as these scaled elements along the exterior begin to glow to life. You see runes begin to glow. And Eleanor, you now stand at the rune bridge of this craft. You can see there is the stone pedestal embedded with rotating rings of glyphs. They are all in Draconic. Do you speak Draconic?
I don't.
You have no idea what you're doing.
No.
You can see there's all sorts of glyphs. There's like a dozen or so just kind of glowing in front of you, rotating around, and you see nothing. You are looking at just iron all around you. There is no way to perceive the outside from here, at least that you can see. But in this moment, you are now at the bridge, or at the rune bridge of this craft.
You're in the ship?
Like
Inside of it, yeah.
Okay.
This is exactly where I wanted to be.
You are now at the rune bridge of the Scald Reaver Carrier, but that is such a... Didn't anticipate that.
Incredible.
Anything else, Eleanor?
That was my action and my bonus action. I'm just going to free action Marvel.
Marvel. This is, you see glyphs that look defensive in nature, others that look a little bit more offensive. You imagine some of them will steer this craft, but that is your turn. At the end of your turn, Joruxa, 50 feet of movement directly towards the craft as he begins to kind of run and move. That does provoke an attack of opportunity from Brenna.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Brenna, you felt this dagger being pushed into the back of your neck, and then at once you hear him exclaim, "No!" and begin to run in the other direction.
That's gonna be a 28 to hit.
With a 28, that is a hit.
Get grappled. 20 points of damage.
20 points of damage. He is still up, but barely. Anything else, Brenna?
That was the reaction.
Okay. They skate away, kind of landing on the side. That is their legendary action at the end of Eleanor's turn. That brings us to Akka.
Okay. Now I need to do a little move math. So,
This is 60. That helps.
yes, that actually is going to help. Excellent. Wonderful. All right. So,
The other contingency of the ring is that
going
you
to
turn
go
into
ahead and, as a free action, command my Echo Knight
Okay.
to, in a diagonal, move down here so that I avoid any attacks of opportunity against it from this guy. So, like, down 30 feet.
Okay.
Then I'm going to use my bonus action to swap places with it. So now this is going to end up over here.
Okay.
pretty good.
Over to here, which costs me 15 feet of my movement, which is currently doubled because of haste, which leaves me with 55 feet of movement left to come over here so that I can then make a flurry of attacks.
Fantastic. Make your attack rolls.
Ooh, just dropped something. Haste doesn't give you advantage on attacks, right?
It does not.
It's on saving throws, right? But I do get an additional attack from my haste. Or an additional... I have an additional action which can be used for specific things, which, depending on if these attacks do what I want them to do, will change.
Roll your dice.
Don't forget your D3.
Make my
You
attacks.
see the whole monologue.
Natural 20 for the first time!
Nice. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
Let's see. It's gonna be first attack is 29 points of magical slashing damage.
Aka, tell us how it happened.
Oh, damn.
In this moment, with Eleanor taking the ring off of his finger. Tell us how it happened.
So I guess seeing all of the stuff happening over here, Aka starts dashing as the echo form swaps, making it kind of like dash, dash, dash over to here. Ghost form, as he's turning and running to the edge to get over to the bridge, he turns into the dagger or into the outstretched sword arm and just impales himself.
And in that moment, he impales himself. You see there is shock in his eyes. In this moment, everything was going according to plan. Even with everything that had happened, even with him so hurt, things were exactly where he wanted them to be. He was a moment away from his victory. And at the last second, Eleanor took the ring off of his finger, prevented him from being reincarnated, prevented the burst of arcane energy that he would have needed. And you are able to pierce him straight through the throat. With no resurrection stone available, without the ring on his finger, they fall, and Joruxa is no more. And in this moment, though there are a few monks left in initiative order, none as mighty as Joruxa is, because it is 5 o'clock. Great place for us to end for the evening, as you are able to vanquish this enemy. Eleanor, you at the bridge of this ship recognize, with just a couple of seconds kind of looking over it, this is beyond anything that you've ever seen. This craft has the ability to go to other planes. It may not be able to break out of a demiplane by itself, but you do see there is this glimmering diotic metal that has been fused to it over the last couple of, perhaps even hours. It is fresh. And you imagine that had a powerful entity died, their soul been channeled into that ring, this probably could have broken free of this place. But that did not happen. You were likely literally a turn away from him escaping and providing some significant obstacles to the wandering hearts. But as that did not happen,
We did it!
Well done.
10 years later, we saved this.
you're all out of it. And in this moment, I will say that is where we will come to an end for Greater Than Greed, though certainly not an end of this story. As we have a very interesting ship now in the hands of Eleanor Windray. But thank you for joining us for this session of Greater Than Greed.
Adventures in Alberon, Campaign 1,
Yeah.
point.
Thank you guys so much for playing. Very unusual ending. I had 3 endings ready. None of them were this.
Really?
Yeah.
As is always the case.
There was the plan that literally everything was going according to plan for him. He needed to die once for this to work in the way that he wanted. He could have just
power of the
escaped
soul.
and flown around Kalipsos, but that doesn't do anything. To break through the actual planar shield that separates this plane from the other ones, they needed that to happen. And so
He needed a powerful enough
Well, because he did it once to get through the aperture in Yorn, sacrifice all those other elves.
Right.
And so without enough numbers to do it again, it was either sacrifice all of these monks and try to escape himself while fighting you guys off, or die in the fight and then just zip away. Oh man, but really well done.
Nice.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Thursday for Starfinder, but please, whatever you do, stay safe. It's wild out there. We'll see you later.
Bye.